Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to everybody who is joining up. I really do appreciate you guys, man. Thank you all so much for being here. So quick announcement. I know that there may be those who, because I do have a small group of people who usually join, and they join the vertical streams, guys. That's not going to be a thing anymore. And the reason being is because we have been having a hard time getting people to come to the stream, to the horizontal stream, which is the main stream. So come to find out that and again, this is my fault, guys, so I do apologize. But as I put this on the charger, I come to find out that vertical streaming and horizontal streaming simultaneously is actually harmful to the stream. Of course, I told my wife I'm gonna go live, and then she starts texting me the moment I press the live button. So the reason that this is important, guys, is because I won't be doing it anymore, and I'm gonna show you guys why and what happened. So if we look here, and I'm sharing the screen with you guys right here, ignore the video, YouTube Insider. I said, is YouTube vertical streaming hurting my horizontal stream? It says yes. Streaming vertically can potentially hurt your horizontal stream by attracting a different audience that is less likely to engage with horizontal content or convert to long-term viewers and subscribers. Vertical streams tend to get more views from the shorts feed, which may not be as engaged as the audience for traditional horizontal streams. This can lead to separate and potentially less loyal fan bases, and it might even confuse the algorithm. So it hurts the regular stream because it creates audience fragmentation. The viewers who find your content through the vertical shorts format are often different from the audience that seeks out horizontal streams or regular videos. It has lower engagement, algorithm confusion, and mismatched viewing experience. So at the end, guys, we won't be doing it anymore. Now, I know that it sucks, and yes, I don't like the fact that we do have a channel of 101,000 subs that is essentially going to be getting numbers like we just created this channel. It's something we got to deal with, guys. It's my fault. I completely take ownership of it. I didn't think that I was doing anything wrong, obviously, or otherwise I wouldn't have been doing it. There was a time about 6-7 months ago where the streams were getting, horizontal was getting 1,000, 2,000, verticals were getting 18,000, 20,000 views, and then it all crashed. And when I looked into it, that's essentially the time that YouTube rewrote the algorithm, and that's where we stand now. So again, guys, it is what it is. It's a learning experience. What I need from you guys is if you guys can just please share the streams, man. Like the streams. Definitely like the streams, guys. I cannot emphasize it enough. I need you guys to hit that like button. If we don't hit the like button, if we don't get engagement from the people who are here, this is just going to stay the way that it is, the way that it is. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the love and all the support, guys. I really do appreciate you guys. But this is our new norm, and regardless of how funky it may look at first, I believe in God's name that we will get through it. So let me go ahead and connect this WebSocket, and then we'll get into the verse of the day. It is obvious what we are talking about today. Daniel chapter 2. Daniel 2 is not talking about Islam, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Brother Johnny. Do you want to say anything before we get into the verse of the day?
How you doing, everyone?
Okay, I guess that was it. I was waiting for something more. It's all good. So the verse of the day: we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 14. The thoughts from Brother Phil Ware on today goes as follows: Jesus' resurrection was just the beginning. His resurrection means that those of us who have faith in him and trust the testimony of the first generation eyewitnesses to his resurrection can have confidence in our future. Those who belong to Jesus, whether they are living or dead, when he comes, will share his victory over death and will be with the Lord forever. For us, when our bodies die, we are with Jesus. Philippians 1:19-24. While it may appear that our bodies are sleeping, as it says in 1 Corinthians 15:51, we are always alive in Jesus, and our future with him is guaranteed. Amen and amen. Here's the prayer, guys. If you want to pray with me, you know that you're always welcome. Loving Father in heaven, thank you for giving me the victory over sin and death in Jesus. I know that just as you raised him from the dead, you will also raise me up at the great day of Jesus's return. Please use that resurrection power in me to help me live more victoriously today, knowing that my future is secure with you, and I will rejoice and share in the glory of Jesus' coming. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen and amen. Thank you guys all so much for my early chatters. Thank you guys. Please like the stream. Please like the stream. Please share the stream. Please sub if you haven't subbed already, and click that bell for event notifications, guys. It really does help the ministry immensely. Brother Johnny knows, no one knows better than he what we are going to be talking about. Daniel chapter 2. I know you weren't there that day for Comedy Central when he came in and he was trying to explain why he thinks the Ottoman Empire were the ones who fulfilled the prophecy in Daniel 2, despite the fact that the Ottoman Empire was decimated in 1922 and didn't even come until 1460 something. The victory that he's claiming in Daniel 2 is the one prophesied in Daniel 2. It makes absolutely no sense for a myriad of reasons, and we do have a debate brief up here that we will get into. Johnny, give us the cliff notes, man. What is going on with Daniel chapter 2? Let us know what's going on there, and how do we know for sure that this is not talking about Islam?
Thank you, Brother Maverick. So, you want me to do like a quick overview?
Yeah, whatever you want, brother. It's your show just as much as mine.
All right, yeah. So Daniel 2 and 7, for those who don't know, Muslims appeal to... I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm still kind of in like the after effects of sickness. I'm feeling better now, thank the Lord. But anyway, so this is a passage Muslims appeal to try to argue Muhammad in the Bible. I would argue it's probably their best passage because it at least makes somewhat sense, but there's still problems. Right. One of them is going to be the cut without hands. So if you go to Daniel chapter 8, I believe, verse 25, it talks about, I believe, a horn, which is a king. He's going to be destroyed without hands. Yep. And when you read, that's actually Antiochus Epiphanes. And if you read First Maccabees chapter 6, it actually talks of, and not that First Maccabees is canonical, that's a separate topic, but that's a historical text that records how he died. And basically he sort of got depressed or something, and that made him really sick. And he essentially died from that. So no one killed him. There was no sword. It was like a sickness that came upon him from deep depression that was essentially from God. Right. So the phrase without hands indicates that it is without human origin. So when Daniel 2:45, and I believe verse 35 also says that the kingdom will be made without hands, or the stone is cut without hands, that means the kingdom is going to come without human origin. It's going to be of some other origin, which is probably the only other option is divine origin. So when you look at how Islam, specifically the Ottoman Empire, rose, it didn't arise magically, or I should say rather not magically, divinely from God. It was by human effort. Excuse me. So that doesn't line up, because they said the Ottomans are the ones that destroyed the Eastern Roman Empire, which is another issue to look into. Does the Eastern, or just taking down the Eastern Empire count as taking down the entire empire? That's a separate issue in of itself. So if the Ottoman Empire didn't start without hands, right? Then they don't qualify. The other issue is the Eternal Kingdom. The Ottoman Empire, and we're going to talk about this right now, fell in 1922, I believe, right? Around World War I, sometime around there.
1922.
So if that's the case, they don't fulfill the aspect of the kingdom being eternal, right? Or never being destroyed. That doesn't work.
Correct.
So, yeah, and we're going to get into Brother Maverick has the whole presentation. I read through it. It sounds pretty comprehensive. It's kind of based on the discussion that happened last week, which I really wish I was there, but in real life. Yeah.
I know, you know what, though, when you weren't there, I was like, yo, Johnny's going to be salty, man. Whether he's watching it now or even worse, if he actually, it's better that you had watched it like later, because if you would have watched it at the time, you would have been even more upset because you wouldn't have been able to join. It's better at least that later. If you would have seen it later, you're like, okay, well, it's not live, so it's not like I can join now anyway, Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is all based off of a conversation that I had with Central Dawah. Central Dawah is a New York-based Muslim. He is a very, very interesting individual. He's known to tell a lot of falsehoods, guys. And we're actually going to get into that, how there's so much deception. Marcos, I have you on TikTok, just so you know. Yeah,
I'm talking through the TikTok.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Nice. Oh, okay. Excellent. All right. And just to go to show you guys that Central Dawah obviously wasn't tracking, because the prompt for that stream was prove that Muhammad is really a prophet, and he started going into Daniel chapter 2 being about Islam. So I think that he was just trying to use my stream as a launch pad to get his nonsense out there, but that's okay, guys. So the title for today, and this is available in Discord if you guys like, crossunit.net/Discord if you like. Daniel 2 and the Fallacy of the Islamic Kingdom Claim, a complete historical, theological, and scholarly analysis. Now, the majority of this debate brief, guys, is pulled from actual history, from Christianity, from Islam, and we're going to go through it bit by bit, all right? Hatem Izat, I see your request. Give me a second. I'm going to go over this, and then I'll pull you up. You'll be the first guest, brother. No problem. So the analysis of the debate with Central Dawah and subsequently God Logic, which it wasn't even really a debate, because once he heard God Logic's voice, he started looking for excuses to leave and not talk to him.
You gotta formal me, bro.
Yeah, you gotta formal me. And then he claims that's what God Logic actually said to Libiano. And anybody who saw that video, that's not even remotely close to what Avery said. Avery said, let's co-host so that we can debate, and then Libiano never showed up. But in the Dawah mind, it's very different. Anyways, my analysis of the debate with Central Dawah and God Logic. In this debate, ladies and gentlemen, I faced the Muslim apologist known as Central Dawah. For most of the exchange, he tried to argue that Daniel chapter 2 was predicting the rise of Islam and the Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453 AD. He claimed that what Johnny was talking about, the stone cut without hands, referred to the Muslims defeating the Romans. But as I showed throughout the discussion, that interpretation falls apart completely once you actually read the text, study the history, and compare it with Daniel chapter 7. Toward the end of the debate, God Logic Avery joined in. And the moment he asked one simple question, what happened when they tried to push west, which is the Ottoman Empire, Central Dawah started backtracking and refused to continue. That told everyone watching all that they needed to know. Now, that was the synopsis of our conversation. If we look at Daniel chapter 2, the vision in Daniel chapter 2, interpretation and prophetic sequence, Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the statue lays out the order of world empires leading up to the coming of God's eternal kingdom, okay? The key word here, ladies and gentlemen, is eternal, right? We have the head of gold, which is Babylon, in Daniel 2:38, and we're going to explain to you guys how we know which kingdoms are being referred to in this prophetic dream. All right, we have the chest of arms. Of silver, which is Medo Persia in 239. We have the belly and thighs of bronze, which is Greece again in 239. We have the legs of iron and the feet mixed with iron and clay, which is Rome in chapter 2, verses 40 through 43. And finally, the stone cut without hands, which is the kingdom of God in 2:44 and 45. Now, that phrase, cut without hands, is everything here, ladies and gentlemen. It is everything. In the Hebrew language, it means something not made by human effort, but by divine origin, okay? Every empire before it was man-made. This one is supernatural. It's not a caliphate or an army. It's God himself establishing his kingdom. During the divided phase of the Roman Empire, Jesus came, died, rose, and established his church. That is the exact time frame that Daniel described. Christianity began spreading without violence while Rome was still in power. That's what fulfilled Daniel's prophecy, right? Now, historical and chronological proofs that the kingdom could not be Islam. This is the most important part, guys. The Roman Empire is the fourth kingdom, not Arabia. It was divided into East and West around 286 AD. This is highlighting the question that Avery asked Central Dawah and the reason why Central Dawah did not want to address it, because they could never actually dominate West. And that's why he was like, you need to talk. You need a formal debate if you want to talk to me. That's why Comedy Central didn't want to talk about it. Daniel 2:44 says the kingdom of God appears during those kings, not after them. Jesus came during Rome's rule and not centuries later. Muhammad was born over 600 years after the Roman Empire's divided phase began, which is far beyond the prophetic window. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 AD came more than 1,000 years too late to fit Daniel's prophecy, and Daniel's stone destroys all kingdoms and never ends. The Ottoman Empire fell in 1922, proving that it was just another human empire. So, guys, this is available. You guys can go on and on. There are several more points. I'm not going to insult you guys by reading this word for word verbatim. You guys can read it for yourselves. What I find interesting, though, is that you can read Daniel chapter 2, and it's clear that this is a kingdom that never ends, and yet the Ottoman Empire fell in 1922, over a century ago. To say nothing of the fact that it's cut without human hands. Well, yes, the empire, the entire nation, the community of Islam was created by Muhammad. Last I checked, Muhammad was a human being. So I don't understand where they're getting this from. We do have a guest calling in, Hatem Isat. I don't know who Hatem Isat is, but we'll see who he is and what he's about.
Hello.
Yes, hello. How can I help you, brother?
You hear me now?
Well, I can hear you.
Very nice. So you're talking about Daniel prophecy and all this. And you Christian yourself, or what are you? You Christian, yeah?
Yes.
Right. And why do you believe the Bible, if you don't mind?
Why do I believe the Bible?
Yeah.
Because there are tons of historical and archaeological finds proving its events. If you're talking about as a historical document?
No, it's a reliable source of information about Jesus Christ and the writing and the manuscript and all these things.
Yeah.
If I don't know, you sound quoting Dawah Center. I don't know who's Dawah Center, but you're quoting people. But in the same hand, you ignore the fact that no one knows who wrote these Bibles. Who wrote this? I'm not attacking your beliefs. Yeah, I'm saying I'm saying many Christian scholars, many priests confirming this. Many missionaries confirming this. The Bible is not original from it.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying many church fathers and many scholars confirm what?
The Bible is not reliable.
It's not reliable? Okay, which ones?
If you, for example, 1 John 5:7.
No. Stop. You're already gish galloping. You made a claim.
Okay.
Now you're going to prove your claim.
Yeah.
You said the church fathers and scholars said the Bible's not reliable. So which church father said that the Bible's not reliable?
I tell you, that's what I said to you. I'm going to go through this way to show the church father themselves don't know this is not reliable, because if you look, for example, for verses in the Bible, you won't find in a manuscript.
Okay, you're a Muslim?
Alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim.
Okay, well then you have a big problem, my friend, because your book, you believe that the Quran is God's word, God's eternal word? Yeah, well,
absolutely.
You have a problem because you're trying to talk about and attack the credibility of the Bible to say nothing of the fact that your book affirms the Bible and affirms the previous scriptures.
In which way you affirm it? What's mean affirm it?
Let's see. You have Quran 5:46 and 47. You have Quran 1094, 3 and 4, 568. Do you know what any of those say?
Yeah. I know that Christian always quote this, but the problem is you don't know what is. You don't read the verse from the beginning.
Yes, I do. Brother, I've read all of these from the beginning. We've had these discussions. I've read the entire chapters. I've read the context of it, so that argument doesn't work.
Do you mind if I added something to this? Just let me add something. It'll take 1 minute. You see, you're missing out with the eloquence of the language Arabic, the grammar of it. You do miss it.
No. Well, you know what's funny? I actually have spoken with Arabic speakers who say that argument. You're not going to gatekeep behind Arabic. I don't care what your Arabic says, because at the end of the day, It's been made clear by your scholars that gatekeeping argument behind Arabic doesn't work.
No scholar confirm it. No scholar confirm it that the Bible you have in your hand is God's words.
Okay, so then, then you're stuck in your dilemma because your book affirms it.
No dilemma. You are born in dilemma yourself because you're making something out. Look, it says in the Quran very clear. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فمن الذين I'm going to say it in Arabic.
Yeah. We know what it says. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Okay, طيب. ماشي. We get it.
Your friend, your helper.
All right. So my question to you is why is it telling Christians at the time to affirm their scripture? Why is it telling them to consult their scripture?
No, I say to you, that's what I said. You're missing the grammar, the background of the grammar.
Okay, what is the grammar? How does the grammar
Hey,
help you?
إهبل. ما في background of the grammar, okay? Stop, Gazab. Shut your mouth, Gazab. Stop trying to lie.
You're lying, brother. You're lying.
Look at this. Very scary. Very scared. Really scared. Look, my friend.
Should be عشان والله عن جد انت كذاب. You should be scared.
Look, Christian running. Oh, let us. I'm gonna speak, or you're gonna stop me again talking.
Well, here, this is what Hatem. This is what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stick to the topic at hand because I'm not interested.
I'm happy to take the topic.
Okay,
but
well,
okay,
Hatem. I'm not interested in what you want to do. I have a topic. My topic is that Daniel 2 is not because you're saying one thing and other Muslims are saying other things, right? And I know that you're used to being in charge wherever you are, but you're not in charge here. So Daniel 2 is not talking. Daniel 2 is not talking about Islam. That's what it's about. Now, are you calling it to talk about that or not?
No, I just wanna talk to you about anything you like, but I know you wanna run from
Daniel,
this.
So nobody's running from anything. I have a topic.
If you want to talk, we're all for talking, but what we're not going to do is have you gaslight us into thinking that the Arabi has some sort of dialect or some sort of understanding in which we don't understand. Don't sit there and try to make us think that our intellect is lesser than yours, because guess what, Habibi? Okay, and I'm in Palestine, and I right, and I'm عليك. And you can understand me, and I understand you, and I understand everything you're saying, and I also understand the Arabi, and a lot of people understand the Arabi. You're not special. Wallahi anta, you're not special. Okay, you're less special than my shoes. So just humble yourself and listen to him and have a discussion if you want to have a discussion.
Hatem, is Daniel too? Hatem, shh, don't get booted, brother. Is Daniel chapter 2? Hey, brother. You're too old for me to have to be directing like this, okay? Is Daniel 2 talking about Islam?
Of course it talks about Islam.
Okay, tell us why it's talking about Islam.
You already refute yourself.
Yeah, how's that?
I'm not lying to you. You refute yourself when you talk about it.
Where did I refute myself?
When you skip the Muslim Empire and the Roman Empire, go back to what you've been reading to them and make it slowly and put it in a screen to them.
No. Let them explain it. Go ahead.
Look, refute yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Refute yourself. You're refuting because you're always skipping what is important. Christians always do this the same thing.
Okay.
They are regular.
So here, let me go over it. The Roman Empire. Be quiet. Be quiet.
The Roman while he's talking,
the Roman Empire is about the fourth kingdom, right? Not Arabia. All right, man. Listen, I don't have time for idiocy. All right, I have time. I'm gonna talk to people who really
he can't listen, bro.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
What did he say? That we skipped over the Roman Empire?
Yeah, we skipped over it. Apparently,
you are like.
He manifested hard. As soon as there was an Arabic speaker on here,
you can't even talk in church. You better shut up. You can't even talk in church.
Hadi.
You gotta shut him up.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? If that's what I am,
the manifestations are real today.
He just called me a whore, brother Maverick.
Yeah,
just so you know.
He's gone. He's gone. He's a clown.
Yeah, brother Maverick.
Yeah.
I can reiterate the point.
Go ahead, reiterate it. I mean, they're not gonna understand it, but go ahead and reiterate it.
No, of course not. But I'll just put it out there.
Please do.
As both me and Maverick just mentioned, we didn't skip over this. We mentioned how this actually backfires because who took down the Eastern Roman Empire, which is already a bit of an issue because remember Rome split,
Right.
Western Empire fell 476. A lot of historians consider that the true fall of Rome, but that, again, I can grant for the sake of argument. Let's just say the Eastern Empire is true Rome, and that conquering the Eastern Empire counts as destroying Rome. Fine. The Ottoman Empire destroys it. Two problems. The Ottoman Empire does not rise made without hands, as it says in Daniel. It also doesn't last forever.
Yep.
It fell about a century ago, whereas Daniel says it's an everlasting kingdom. There are two problems right there. And we didn't skip over this. We literally both. I think we both said the same exact thing. Almost.
Well, he's too stupid to understand it. You're too stupid to understand it. Yeah, I get it. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I would add there's a third problem with that, because if you consider Islam to be the empire, not Turkey, then Christianity is an empire.
Right. Well, they don't look at it that way, though. They only look at it in the ways where the words that they like actually make this about Islam, but they have to ignore the fact that the Ottoman Empire was destroyed by nations that were actually found in Christianity, which I think is funny as hell. But the Ottoman Empire was crushed towards the end of World War I. And if we're going to look at the Ottoman Empire as the ones supposedly fulfilling this prophecy, you would have to explain why the prophecy says that it will endure forever, and this one fell 103 years ago.
Ottomans aren't the fifth kingdom.
What?
The Ottomans aren't the fifth kingdom. That's not the argument.
Then what is the argument?
Yeah, the argument is that Islam is the fifth kingdom, and that the Ottomans are agents of Islam, like how prophets are agents of God, or that the angel of the Lord is the agent of God.
It wouldn't matter because Muhammad was still born 600 years after the Roman Empire's divided phase began, which is far beyond the prophetic window.
He was
yes.
He was born 300 years later, not 600. Number one. Number two,
Muhammad was born. First of all, stop. Muhammad was born over 600 years after the Roman Empire's divided phase began. Learn how to listen.
When did it divide? When did it divide?
The Roman Empire began its divided phase. The Roman Empire is the fourth kingdom, not Arabia. It divided into East and West around 286 AD, right?
You just made the claim that he was born 600 years later.
Okay, so it began.
Relax. He misspoke. Right. Relax. You can take it, big boy. Relax. He misspoke.
I don't know why you're yelling. We're having our own conversation.
I don't know why you're laughing like a child. Relax.
Yes, I'm laughing because he tried to.
He misspoke.
Go ahead, Gary.
Misspoke.
Yes,
relax.
All right, Wonder Woman. There's no need for you to come save him. He's a grown man. He can talk.
Nobody's saving me.
We would love for him to talk.
So
I would love for brother. I would love for brother Maverick to talk, but I can't because your hyena laugh. Hey! Your hyena laugh is so high pitched it comes over brother Maverick.
Ali,
so don't laugh.
Ali, I'm sorry. So you were right. The East and West phase began around 286 AD. Muhammad was born
395 actually.
Okay,
is when it divided.
Okay, so it began. Okay, so listen. It started to begin to be divided in 286 AD. Muhammad was born in what year?
Wait, hold up. What do you mean starting to begin?
Muhammad was born. Muhammad was born in what year? And even still, you're still centuries off of the prophetic window. It is an issue. It's only not an issue for you.
1 second. Yeah, I'll tell you how it's not an issue because Daniel sets up a timeline and he says the fifth kingdom will become in between 395 and 1453. Which is why it rules out actually Christianity.
Where does it say
Which
that?
Verse?
I'll love to get to that if I
please
can
do.
speak.
Please do.
Yeah, 1 second.
I want to
Daniel
know.
chapter. Daniel chapter 2.
Hold on, I don't want anybody else to talk. I want him to show us exactly where it says in Daniel.
I will.
Go ahead, please do.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, I would like to start from the beginning. So, Daniel sets up a timeline. So, Daniel chapter 2 is all about King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Do you agree the first four kingdoms are Babylon, Medo, Persia, Greece, and then Rome? So, I don't have to provide the evidence for them.
Brother, I listen. I said set up your point. We asked for a chapter and verse.
I'm trying to, but it's incumbent that these are the four kingdoms.
You don't. Hey, listen. You can set up your point. You can set up your point without asking us yes or no.
I don't.
Set up your point.
I don't allow the narrative
so
building
these are the
here.
first four kingdoms. The evidence for the first four kingdoms are Daniel chapter 2, verse 38. He identifies King Nebuchadnezzar as the first. He says, you are the head of gold. So the first kingdom is Babylon. The second and third kingdom are identified in Daniel chapter 8, verse 20 and 21, where he says the second kingdom is Medo-Persia, led by King Cyrus the Great. And the third kingdom is Macedonian Greece, led by King Alexander the Great. And as we know, these Daniel says these four kingdoms come successively one after another. Therefore, we can establish that the fourth kingdom defeats the third, which means that the fourth kingdom is Rome, since they historically defeated Greece. So the first four kingdoms are Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and then Rome. Now, knowing that these things come successively, that Daniel establishes in Daniel chapter 2, verse 35, that the fifth kingdom, the rock not cut out from human hands, comes and strikes the feet of iron and clay. He makes this very clear when he says in Daniel chapter 2, verse 35, this rock comes, he makes it very clear, and that's how we know, for example, it doesn't say it strikes the shins of iron. It says it strikes the feet of iron and clay. In Daniel chapter 2, verse 41, when he says this iron and clay represents that the fourth kingdom is divided, we know the fourth kingdom must come after when the kingdom divides and before it falls. Therefore, the fifth kingdom, the kingdom of God, must come after 395 and before 1453. You agree?
Brother, we asked you for a chapter and verse. I didn't ask you for your idiotic interpretation.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 35 and 41.
So here, hang on, guys, because I'm gonna skin this dude. First of all, your logic sounded.
Even tell me when they divided. You're gonna skin me?
Yeah, I am going to skin you because you came and you lied. You said that Daniel itself, shut your damn mouth, dude, because you're coming in here lying and you're saying, and the only reason you're even saying that is because Constantinople fell in 1453. So you're neatly trying to put that in there.
Because Rome didn't exist.
Okay, now what you're doing is you're shutting your mouth because now nobody can hear you. Okay, now Daniel 2 does not limit the stone cut without hands to any narrow window between 395 and 1453 AD, which is why I asked you for a chapter and verse. That time constraint is actually artificially inserted by fools like you, because Daniel never says that the kingdom of God must arise between the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the fall of the Byzantine Empire. It doesn't say that anywhere. He only says that it would arise in, quote, the days of those kings, meaning during the era of the divided Fourth Empire, not a specific century mark, my friend. Secondly, your huge blunder saying that the Fourth Kingdom is universally recognized even by Jewish historians like Josephus as Rome. Rome was already ruling when Christ appeared, which fits perfectly with Daniel's prophecy. Okay, so the divine kingdom was inaugurated not by military conquest, which is exactly what the Ottoman Empire was, but by the coming of the Messiah. Jesus himself said in Mark 1, verse 15, the kingdom of God is at hand. End quote. Again, the kingdom of God is at hand. He established it through his death and resurrection, not through political war, which again is how Islam spread. Third, the stone that became a great mountain and filled the whole earth describes a kingdom of divine origin, not another empire like Islam or Byzantium, okay? It is cut without hands, meaning that it is not of human construction. No empire, I'm sorry, I don't know where you're getting this idiotic little interpretation of yours, but no empire between 395 and 1453 can claim that. Every single one, whether Byzantine, Islamic, or otherwise, was man-made. It was built on armies, politics, and conquest. So this garbage about 395 and 1453 is literally only a you thing.
Yeah, so you just, every single point I made just went right over your head.
No,
like, you didn't respond to
my head because Ibn Ali, stop. Ibn Ali, we heard you. We heard you.
And I gave you a verse.
No,
did I not give you verses?
No, you didn't. You said
I gave you Daniel chapter 2, verse 35, and Daniel chapter 2, verse 41.
You said that the prophecy in Daniel made it clear that it was going to happen between 395 and 1453. Those were your words.
Okay, and I gave you verses, did I not?
Is that not what he said? Is that not what he said? Okay. So now we're asking you to show us that. Yeah, and you completely skipped 244.
Yeah, I didn't skip over it. It's not relevant to the context.
It's not relevant to the context.
You can't just skip over it, though.
I didn't skip over it. 35, 41,
so it's not relevant to the context, but it's not relevant to the conversation.
Hold on, guys, because he's hold on, because he's crying. Oh, and dude, now
who's crying? I'm just asking to speak.
You're crying because, brother, hold on.
Oh my God. Can I speak?
You said that 244.
You just went on a monologue.
Hold on, Gary, hold on. Guys, hold on, because you said that 244 is not relevant to the context. You know why you think that? Because Daniel 244 says that the kingdom of God appears during those kings and not after them. Jesus came during Rome's rule, and he came not centuries later. Your claim was that it's not a problem that Muhammad came centuries later because it still fits within the prophecy. And then you said that the prophecy in Daniel stated that this would happen between 395 and 1453. When we asked you to show us where, you went on some long tangent.
Okay.
Okay, so where was it
I'll repeat
anywhere?
it again. It's okay. I'll repeat it again. Don't worry. I have no problem repeating myself. So, does Daniel say that the rock strikes the feet of iron and clay? Yes or no?
Brother.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Yes,
hold on.
it does,
Gary,
okay?
Gary, hold on. Brother, I'm going to ask you one more time.
I showed you. You couldn't track, so I have to walk you through
Which
it.
verses say that it is going to happen between 395 and 1453? That's what I asked.
I'm trying to tell you. I told you the first time you couldn't track, so now I have to walk you through it.
Yeah, it's me not being
Does
able to track.
Daniel say the rock strikes the feet of iron and clay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. What does this signify? What does the rock and clay signify?
Can you tell us?
Yeah, in Daniel chapter 2, verse 41, it signifies that the kingdom is divided. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, the kingdom is divided.
Right.
Okay, so the rock, when it doesn't strike the legs, it strikes the feet, meaning it strikes Rome. One second. Meaning it strikes Rome.
Are the legs?
Meaning it strikes Rome when Rome is divided, correct? The rock comes and established when Rome is divided.
I got you. So when you're talking about the divided kingdoms, the toes are the 10 kings, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about the toes. I'm simply talking about,
What do you mean
does the
not?
rock come when Rome is divided? Yes or no? You're trying to divert.
Notice this.
Yeah, he skips it.
It says in the
Notice
days
you're
of,
trying to divert.
it says in the days of those kings, right? Which kings?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's we'll get to that. That's a secondary point. I'm simply trying to- No, tell him next second. What's wrong with you?
Nobody else jump in.
Hold on.
Nobody else
Number
jump
one.
in. It's
Nobody
okay.
else
I'm
jump in.
trying to
Go ahead.
speak.
It's okay.
You guys are trying to divert to the point. You guys
Abraham
asked
do
me a
it.
very simple
We're
question.
on your point, bro.
Hello, you guys asked me a simple question and I responded, and you guys can't respond to the point.
We did.
I said, does the rock comes when Rome is divided? He said, where does Daniel say that? I gave you the verses you couldn't track. Now when I'm walking you through it, Avery wants to jump to the 10 kings. We'll get to that point. I'm establishing, one second, Avery. I'm establishing that the rock comes after Rome is divided. Therefore, because through Daniel says that the rock strikes the feet of iron and clay, meaning it strikes a divided kingdom. It doesn't strike when the kingdom is unified. Therefore, it's limited. The rock must come after 395, which Brother Maverick already conceded and agreed that the division of Rome is 395.
Hold on. Don't ever misrepresent me in my life.
Do you agree that the division of Rome is in 395?
When did I concede anything to you?
Yeah, did you agree that the division of Rome is in 395?
I didn't concede to anything to you.
Did you agree?
You're
That's not
the
the
one
question.
who made the question. You are the one who made.
He's wasting our
Answer the
time.
question.
Yeah,
Did I
wasting
ask
time.
you, and did you agree that Rome divides in 395? Yes or no?
First of all, we said clearly.
Oh my God.
The point
Can you
that I
answer
made
the question?
to you, no.
The
The
question's
point
not that
that
hard.
you made was that you said that
It's not that
Daniel
hard.
stated that
Yeah,
between
but
395.
Oh my gosh, let us talk.
You're
Please
loud
talk.
and wrong. Pick
Relax.
one. You can't be both. You can either
Brother,
be loud or wrong.
You're being annoying. Relax.
It's a 10v1. I can deal with all five. You guys just relax.
Okay, fine,
You can be loud, annoying, or wrong.
You know what?
Okay. And Ibn Ali,
Go ahead.
Okay,
let him deal with
You're
Avery
broken Arabic
because
is
he's
disgusting,
lying.
I'll be honest.
He's lying.
Listen,
and he's getting
I
caught.
gave
It's
verses to
okay.
back myself up, and you're lying.
Ibn Ali, Ibn Ali,
Word.
you can go ahead and talk
20v1. I'm
one.
feeling like Drake right now.
Okay,
Fine.
all right.
I like Drake
Okay.
anyways.
Word.
But like, I can deal with you guys. Just relax.
Hey,
I'm giving you
okay.
verses. You're giving me
Not get
feelings.
emotional,
All
man.
There's a difference here.
Let Avery.
Avery,
let
don't talk
Avery
about
come.
emotions. You ran from
Let me
Leon.
talk to him.
Let's not talk
Go
about
ahead, Avery.
emotions.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not
Alright.
just talking about you, Ibn Ali. I'm talking about everybody. We
All right,
chill
listen,
out.
Ibn
So
Ali.
I gave verses and I established my claim.
Yes,
Can you
you
guys
did.
respond to what I said?
Sure. Okay, but first, hold on. Ibn Ali, before they do, brother, just listen to me for a second, okay?
Fuck
I
it.
need you to make sure that, I'm just gonna let you know right now because this is recorded. We did, when I said we don't want to give you yes and no's to go ahead and set up your argument, I swear on everything, everybody was muted for 4.5 minutes as you were listing these things, and then you gave us one question at the end. I promise you that it was answered. However, you were interrupting about 2 or 3 times as Brother Maverick was giving it to you. All I'm going to ask you is going forward, if you want this to be 1v1, if you want it to be 1 versus 1 for you, I need you to do the kindness, right, that I know that your Muslim family brought and then you up with, and not talk while other people are talking, okay? Because Anjad, it looks bad on you. Don't do that. So we're being quiet. You be quiet too when they respond, okay?
Yeah, I was quiet.
And it'll be 1v1, okay? But listen, I'm just gonna hold on. Wallahi, I'm gonna be honest.
Just let him talk. Just let him talk to Avery, because it's just gonna go nowhere.
Yeah,
go
and
ahead.
that's fine. But I just want him to know he needs to be honest. Ibn Ali, listen, when you need to be honest. When Avery talks to you, you really need to not interrupt and say but, because I know that Avery knows how to be quiet when people talk, and I know that Brother Maverick and I know that we all muted when you gave us 4 points, right? When people are responding to you, I'm Jed, wallahi, I'm not trying to be mean. This is not me just picking on you. Please keep it subtle, because we are not going to come to you the same way that you think we are unless you interrupt us. If you interrupt us, it's coming off as disingenuous. If we are trying to make a point, let us make it. If you believe in your Allah, calm down your spirit. That's why I said tawruhak, okay? Stick your spirit back in your throat and calm it down a little bit. You got it.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason why
Avery is away from the stream, so.
I'm just responding to it. The reason why I didn't let Avery continue on that point, because it's a red herring. It's irrelevant to the point. I was trying to establish when the rock comes, and he's talking about, are those kings, are the 10 toes divided? No, we're not.
Let's meet you back. That. All right, let's back up a little bit. Okay, we apologize.
Right,
okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Avery.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. It's pointless.
All right, thank you. So it's on me, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Ibn Ali, your entire point is that it talks about a divided kingdom, and therefore the rock has to come when the kingdom is divided. I agree with you that the rock does come and begins to grow and take over once the kingdom is divided. I agree with you on that. However, this is the part where this is why I asked you about the 10 kings, because this is important. You're saying that this is about Muhammad and the advent of Islam. Okay? Who are the 10 kings that Islam defeated?
Yeah, so hold on one second. Yeah, so the 10 kings, number one, the reason why I didn't want to respond to this is because the point that I was trying to make is when this comes and how this rules out Christianity, or whichever one you want to believe it is. If it rolls out it rolls out Jesus being the fifth king or the Son of Man, it rolls out Christianity as a whole. That's why I wanted to establish that. The 10 kings are just various kings of Rome. It's not like a set 10 rulers or 10 leaders.
How many does it say? I disagree that it rules out Christianity. I think it leans right into it. No, how many does it say? How many kings are there?
Yeah, it's like the 10 kings are like the 10 horns represented in Daniel 7. But
exactly.
Before you get that, before you get there, what is a division?
Turn right
That's
onto Great
important.
Creek Trail.
What is a division? Because that's the central point that we need to agree on before we even go.
You said what is the division?
Yeah, the division of Rome. Because Maverick agrees with me and thinks it's a formal division. But if you don't think so, then that's an issue.
Yeah, so
At the next stop
I
sign,
agree.
turn
Hopefully,
right.
My GPS is in. Do you guys hear my GPS?
This is supposed to be a 1v1. I'm gonna need Siri to exit the conversation.
Bro, I don't mind it. Maverick can jump in. You can jump in. I just
no, it's okay. It's all right. I said this is a 1v1. I'm gonna need Siri to exit the conversation.
Yeah. So we actually see the division take place once, especially in the West. Once I think it was the Germanic tribe that took over the Western Roman side. They defeated Rome on the west side, and then you see the entry of these different nations coming into Rome or its territory. You don't see Rome necessarily end, but you kind of see a transition into now it's a mixture of different nations, which is what we call Europe today. So that's what happened over there with the division and the mixture, which is why it talks about how when this mixture is going to be due to a lot of them trying to marry into alliances. You'll see that.
Sorry, it dropped me. I didn't hear.
What'd you say?
Just repeat that. I got dropped, so I didn't hear part of your answer.
All right, the mixture, the mixture of nations, the mixed multitude, the mixed nations, has to do with them giving each other up in marriage to form alliances, which is what we see in Europe. So we see this division happening, this separation happening, and this mixture of iron and clay, where you still have remnants of Rome there, but you also have these other. You see that in Europe and what is known as Europe today. So we can clearly see that, which is why the Bible says that they'll be mixing in through marriage, right? They'll be forming alliances, trying to form alliances through these different nations in marriage. In Daniel 2, I think that's like verse like 40 or something like that.
Yeah, in verse 40, yeah, Daniel doesn't say that. In verse 41, he talks about, you're right, he talks about how the clay and the iron, the mix, so like, but he talks about how this represents the kingdom being divided. He says, just as you saw the feet of iron and clay, so this kingdom will be...
How does he say they mix? How does he say they mix?
I'm reading the verse just off of memory, just one second. Okay. He says, just as you saw this kingdom was represented by partly of iron and partly baked clay, so this will be a divided kingdom. And he says, just as you saw the iron mixed with clay, so this kingdom will be partly weak and partly strong.
Yep,
but this is representing how it's divided. I don't have it in front of me. That's just off my memory. I don't have.
Okay, so because you skipped the part, maybe not on purpose. I'm not going to assume you did on purpose, but you said you don't have it in front of you. It goes on to say that they will be given in marriage to each other.
I don't. I can go take a screenshot if you want. I don't remember that. But
sure.
I'll be right back.
Avery, before you came in, or I don't know if you caught the point where he basically thinks that Daniel 2:44 is inconsequential to the point that he's making, because he clearly wants to skip over the part about the Messiah. So I don't know if that helps.
We'll get there next.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys can go to that next. I was just gonna say that this is very like interesting to like Ibn Ali. I'm not gonna I don't think that you're not intelligent. I think that you are. I will say that I'm having a hard time from like an Islamic perspective following how you're interpreting this, because the dynamic with kind of Rome is kind of interpreted along with biblical perspective. So and time prophecy. So I'm just kind of interested to see how this plays out with you and Avery, because it's very different in Islamic end time prophecy and the interpretation of this. So I mean,
what do you mean Islamic interpretation of it?
Just go ahead. I'm just kind of curious to see where this goes. I just think that you may be bringing in Islamic interpretation into something, if I'm correct, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I'm just going to be quiet because I'm
exactly just what he's doing. There's nothing Islamic about this. They have to force.
Yeah. So notice how and you'll see this. If I bring up any Islamic scholar or anything, you feel free to call me out and call me a liar. But whenever I bring up, I use evidences from Daniel himself, or sometimes I can even use your church father.
You're not using evidence from Daniel. Now, can you read verse 43?
Did I not quote Daniel?
I'm sorry.
Word, please.
Hold on.
Stop
43.
jumping in.
Yeah, 43, guys. Here's verse 43. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. I'm reading it directly from the screen.
Oh.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. And just as you saw the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be a mixture and will not remain united any more than iron mixes with clay.
How does that insinuate anything about marriage?
So this is what it says here. Watch.
Thinking how to call.
Probably.
Right here. So because I'm on the road too, so I'm driving, but I'm reading the ESV version. It says that they will mix with each other in marriage. Can you read verse 43 again and what
I have? If you want, make me big screen. I literally have it right here.
What does it say?
I have it right here. Like you can make a big screen.
Read it again in your version, Brother Maverick. What did yours say?
Oh yeah. Let me go back. Because I was going to the ESV since that's what you had. 43 says, and just as you saw the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be a mixture and will not remain united any more than iron mixes with clay.
Yeah. So now in the ESV, because this is actually in the Hebrew, it says that they will mix in flesh or in marriage in the Hebrew, which is why the ESV says that they will mix in marriage. So it's telling you how they will mix and how they will not, how this won't work. They won't stay united.
Yeah, so
right?
in the ESV, it says, as you saw the iron mix with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is demonstrating how the mixture takes place. They're going to be trying to create alliances because they're different nations living in the land, right? How Rome, it's not an empire anymore, but it transitions. It's not the ruling power anymore. Now you got these different nations, Europe, France, not Europe, the Germanic tribes, the Franken tribes, and all the other tribes mixing in, and they're giving each other in marriage, but this stuff doesn't work. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stay.
So Daniel says this is a divided kingdom. What is that referring to? Because like it's still a kingdom according to Daniel.
Well, no. It's when it says it's divided kingdom, meaning there's different kings now, which is why the 10 toes are the different kings within this divided kingdom.
I agree with that, but that doesn't like you just mentioned the whole thing about like mixing intermarriage tribes and stuff like that. Like that, I don't read that in Daniel at all. In fact, the plainer reading and the more obvious interpretation of it, just historically looking at it, is that it splits into east and west, which historically it did in 395. It split into east and west. So if you're gonna say this is the divide, then what time? When does this take place? Like during like historically, when does this happen?
This happens on the west. This is what I'm telling you. This happens on the west. When Rome gets defeated over there in the west by against the Germanic tribes, and then you'll see. I don't have the dates on me. It's in my
476.
But right, but then you begin to see the Franken tribes, Germanic tribes, and the other tribes that are slipping my mind in their names. But
that's fine.
Okay, good. So what we see is what becomes Europe, right? Are all these different tribes and nations coming into this Roman land that they had occupied. The whole western side becomes Europe, and it's now a mixed multitude. Rome is not the center power anymore.
Okay, great. You do realize like this is even worse because I put the dating of the division at 395. If you want to put it at 476 and pass, that's fine. It just rules out Christianity even more.
Actually, real quick, Ali, just for clarification, remember when you were telling me earlier that I was agreeing with you that it's 395, and I made it clear that it wasn't, because even when you look at all you got to do is a very simple search. First of all, everything that Avery is telling you is the first thing that pops up as an image search in Google. It says the Roman Empire began its division in 286 CE, just like I told you, when the emperor split it for administrative purposes, and it was permanently divided in 395, which is what you're talking about, which is what I was trying to tell you earlier. But when you look at this image, it makes it clear that everything that Avery is saying, which is identified as Europe and parts of Northern Africa, was the Western Roman Empire from 395 AD to 476 AD. So what you're talking about is complete hogwash, my friend.
So I'm asking you when, because Avery's putting this division at like 476 and later on. That's fine.
That's not what he said.
That still rules out Christianity.
That's not what he said.
Because you're missing it. Rome had multiple divisions, guys. It didn't just have one split.
I'm asking you about this division.
It had multiple divisions. So this right here, this is talking about when Rome is no longer the power, it transitions into this divide where there's many kings and many nations occupying the land.
That's what I'm asking. Just a general. Are you saying this is like when Western Rome falls? Like when does this happen?
Yeah, this is when Western Rome loses its power.
So 476. So you do realize that's even later than I'm pushing it, because Daniel says the stone not cut out from human hands comes after the division. So if you're saying this division is in 476, I'll take that.
Wait, hold on. Time out. What happens with the rock? What does it do when it so-called comes? When does it come?
It strikes the feet of iron and clay, and then the entire statue falls. After the division.
Okay, so notice this. It's talking about when the rock strikes, right?
He's gone.
He got cut off before. He might just have bad internet.
I'll wait for him to request up again. Hang on. I'll see if he comes in, because I don't know. His revisionist history is pretty tough. Here he is.
No, Ibn Ali, come back. Yeah, we don't.
He's there. All right.
I swipe at my screen, it drops me.
You're good.
So Lodge, what was your question again?
About the rock. What are the details about whether it comes or what's it doing? What's the action?
Yeah, so Daniel says it strikes the feet of iron and clay, and then once it strikes the feet, the entire statue falls and crumbles, and then it grows into the earth and becomes a mountain and spreads across the earth.
Yeah, but hold on a second. What does it say when it will come?
Yeah, it says it strikes the feet of iron and clay, signifying it strikes the divided kingdom.
You're misunderstanding my question. When it talks about the rock, when does it come?
Yeah, it comes when the kingdom is divided.
Where does it say that?
Yeah, when it says it strikes the feet of iron and clay. And Daniel later signifies in verse 41 that this signifies a divided kingdom.
Ibn Ali, I need you to do me this favor, because I don't have much time. Can you can you read the verse and tell me when it says when the rock comes?
Yeah, I'll tell you how. It says in verse 35.
Don't explain it to me. I need you to read.
That's
the
a
verse
verbatim fallacy.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's a verbatim? No, it's a reference. I'm asking for a reference.
I'm showing you the concept of it. If you're saying show me in this words and where it says exactly in this date, that's a verbatim fallacy.
No. Okay, so here I'll read it for you. I'll read it for you because this is crazy. Yeah. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold all together were broken in pieces and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
Okay, thanks. When does it say the stone comes?
Yeah, it says the stone comes when, like, I'm just repeating the same answer.
It doesn't say, does it?
No.
It says the stone will strike the feet of iron and clay, which Daniel later signifies as the divided kingdom.
You're missing it, because the reason I don't mean to cut you off, but it's only because I'm short on time. I'm not asking about what the stone will do.
Yeah, no, I'm saying him telling us what the stone will do also tells us when it comes. Like it's not that hard. Like later on, when Daniel tells us, "Oh, the feet of iron and clay signifies a divided kingdom," he's telling us when the rock will come. The rock will come after the kingdom divides and then strike it, because it can't. If the rock comes before the kingdom divides, then it's not striking the feet of iron and clay; it's striking the legs of iron. So yes, it is telling us when it will come.
Why?
Because I'll tell you why. Because if it comes,
you're breaking down. Slow down, please. And I wanted to highlight this to everybody. I might be losing connection around here where I am. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you, baby.
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit.
It's all good.
Man, it's annoying. So look, what you have to do, Ibn Ali, is you have to build in your assumptions into the verse about the stone, about the kingdom, about its coming, and all of that. You have to assume things. All of this is resting on your assumptions. You're unable, based on the passage, but listen, you're unable, based on the passage, to tell me exactly when the stone will come. It doesn't tell you. It just tells you what the stone will do, what the kingdom will do. It doesn't tell you when exactly it will come. Yep. But here's something that's interesting, though. It tells you that in the days of those kings, it's going to strike them and demolish all of them, right? Those 10 kings of the divided kingdom. So with that being said, this is how you have to fit this with Islam. One, you need to fit it with Islam, that Islam is the one who struck the feet of clay and iron, the mixture, right? And didn't get defeated by them. The mixture and the 10 kings that it defeated. Who were those 10 kings that Islam defeated?
Yeah, but before we get to that, 1 second. So can the rock come and strike?
Before we get to that,
yes, it is, because it's built off of a presupposition that I don't grant. So I'm asking you a question. Can the rock come and strike the legs of iron? Or does it have to strike the feet of iron and clay?
The rock strikes the feet of iron and clay. That doesn't mean that the rock has to come when the feet when the feet are divided.
Well, great. So the rock can come and not strike the divided kingdom. It can strike the kingdom that's unified.
Correct. So
where does Daniel say that? Where does Daniel say that?
The rock can be there without striking, and then there's a point in time where the rock strikes.
Wait, when the rock strikes,
that's why I asked you. And this will be my third time asking this now. You've avoided it twice.
Yeah, because this is built off of presuppositions that I don't grant.
Let me ask the question again.
It's built off of precepts that I don't grant.
Hold on,
You think this is
Let him
Islam?
ask a question. Let him ask his question, because he asked you about 35, and you refused to say. When he asked you about 35, your answer was, that's a verbatim fallacy. It doesn't have to say that. Now you have the audacity to ask him the same question and say, where does it say that? When we asked you that question, you said it was a verbatim fallacy.
But I established it. Did I not establish it and said,
no, you didn't establish
it shows the
anything.
Concept of it. So
I'm
asking you to show the concept where it says that.
You did not establish anything. So
I did.
Stop running from that question. Here's the third time.
I'm asking you to establish your claim.
Here's the third time.
Could you give me the evidence for that?
Question. Can you guys mute him? Because he's starting to panic now.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you for the evidence.
Here's the third time that I'm asking the question.
Made a claim.
You are trying to force Islam as this kingdom. Who
made a claim. I would like the evidence.
Who were the 10 kings that Islam defeated?
Yeah, like the 10 kings are just referring to various kings.
So who are the 10 kings that they defeated? Answer the question.
Yeah, like the various kings of Rome. It's not like there's 10 kings at a single point. You're asserting that. Now I'm asking you for your... One second, Avery. Let me finish my response.
Does the verse say that there are 10 kings? Did you not?
Yeah.
Did you not even admit yourself?
One second.
Did you not admit yourself that there were 10 kings?
Yeah, I'll respond. The 10 kings is just referring to various rulers of Rome. And
does it say there's 10 kings?
Yes, it's referring to various rulers of Rome.
So who? No, it's not referring to various rulers. It says 10 kings.
Yep.
Yeah,
who were they?
Kings could just be referring to rulers.
Who were they?
Okay.
Yes, because as we know, Rome had emperors and weren't kings. Does that mean the fourth kingdom is not Rome?
So I got you.
Wait, one second.
Answer the
If you
question,
made a claim, I would like the evidence for that. You made a claim.
Thank you, Ibn Ali. So guys, watch.
You made a claim. I want the evidence.
Can you please mute up, please?
Yeah. Go
Appreciate it. Notice this, everybody.
You made a claim.
Notice the presuppositions that the Muslims have to force on the verse. And then when the verse is explicit about a certain detail, all of a sudden, oh, it could be something else. It could be a euphemism for something else. This is how weak the argument is, Ibn Ali. When you guys need to stop using this because there's so many holes in your narrative. It's embarrassing. When you get asked, okay, fine. Since this is about Islam, then who are the 10 kings that they beat? Oh, well, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean the 10 kings. It could just mean a variety of rulers. It doesn't say that. You have to come up with an ad hoc interpretation that has nothing to do with the text in order to stand, and you're standing on air. So you have to either this prophecy, and you're going with the details, as you've been trying to hold us to, then stick with the details.
Yeah,
who were they?
Give me the evidence. 1 second. I can name you 4 of them, like just based off.
Give me the 10.
1 second. Hello, I'm speaking. So this is like basic decorum. Now you made multiple claims and haven't established any of them from the text.
He's not gonna answer.
I'm asking you for your
Ali, if you're not gonna answer the question, I'm gonna boot you, brother.
You can run. I'll clip the hell out of this.
You made
the claim. 1 second.
I've been recording you for the last 45 minutes, so believe me when I tell you, it's getting recorded.
You made the claim, Avery. You said that the fourth kingdom, the Iraq can just stand there and do nothing, and then it's wrong. Where? 1 second. Where does it say that? Because you're making the claim that the division of Rome is like some type of informal. I'm speaking, Avery. Answer the question. Stop running from the question.
He ran from my question 3 times. He ran from my question 3 times.
You still haven't established when the kingdom is divided.
I've answered all of his questions. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
I've answered all of his questions. I'll even do him another favor. I'll answer this other question that he just asked. Here's how this is established. Jesus says that the kingdom is at hand and is here. So Jesus tells us that the kingdom is here. However, the kingdom isn't established physically because it didn't take over, it didn't defeat everyone yet. However, the kingdom was established spiritually. Right. So we have 2 folds of this. The kingdom is there, as Jesus said, but then he has to establish it physically when he comes back. That's how this is established biblically. So I answered your question, how the kingdom is here, but doesn't establish its physical rule yet until later, until when the Son of Man comes. Now, what you need to do is tell me, since you want to throw that aside, tell me who the heck are the 10 kings that your Islamic empire defeated in order to be this kingdom that God set aside to establish his rule on earth. Who are they?
He might have got disconnected again.
No. He wouldn't stop interrupting, so I booted him, but he's not re-requesting. And I had a feeling he wasn't going to because he didn't want to answer Avery's question, despite the fact that Avery asked him a specific question about verse 35, and he said that it was a verbatim fallacy. But then when Avery actually read the other verse word for word, he said that it was that's a presupposition that I don't grant. Brother, nobody cares if you grant it. We're asking. Ibn Ali, if you want to come back, you have not answered any question. Request back up. Let me see if he's back in here. Okay, yeah, he's back in here.
Well, I reached my destination, guys. I'm about to get in my
Would you like to answer the question now?
All right, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
I already answered. You can play the live back and hear my answer. Now,
I heard your answer.
It's actually your time to answer.
1 second.
So it's either you give us the 10 kings or you're done.
Right.
So give us the 10 kings.
No, because it's based off of a presupposition that I don't grant. Like what?
Oh, does the verse say 10 kings?
Yeah, the verse says 10 kings. And I actually agree. There are 10 kings. These 10 kings are referring to 10 rulers of Rome, various rulers of Rome. 3 of them are Maxentius, Licinius, and Maximinius. And 1 second. And Constantine are the 4 kings. Are 4 of those kings.
Who are the 10 kings?
I'm speaking, Avery. You're panicking. You're panicking.
Get him off the stage.
Relax.
Get
You're
this guy off the
panicking.
stage.
I'm
Oh
answering.
my
Don't
God.
run.
Get off the stage.
Bro, he said the 4 kings. Okay, who's the other 6? Well,
Who's the other 6,
listen,
man?
so here's how we're gonna do this now, guys. First, he started off by telling me that I granted his position, even though everybody on both panels heard me clearly say that the divided era started in 286 CE. Did I or did I not say that, ladies and gentlemen? I had made that clear that that's when that it started. He claimed that it was 395 and that Daniel stated that it was 395 between 395 and the 1400s. Then Avery asked him about the 10 kings. He said, I can name 4 of them, but it doesn't matter because it's based on a presupposition that I don't grant anyway.
Yeah, but
here we go. Here, guys.
Caesar, Islam defeated.
Y'all hear him mention
Constantine.
Yeah.
All those Roman kings.
Right. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, Avery, I appreciate you coming in, man, because I know this is something that you love talking about. When Central Dawah came, when he came in the other day, and clearly he couldn't track because my prompt wasn't even about Daniel 2. My prompt was about proving Muhammad was a real prophet, and he started talking about Daniel 2, so it inspired this stream. But these guys are they're terrible, man. They're absolutely terrible. The fact that they want to only talk about verses that supposedly supports them. And then when you ask them about those verses, he says it doesn't have to say exactly that. Not only does it not say exactly that, it doesn't say anything like that. What are you talking about, bro? What are you guys talking about?
I'm gonna be listening, but I'll stick around. But I'll be listening.
All right, Avery. Appreciate it, brother. God bless, man. Take care. Brother Avery, God Logic, always welcome on the channel as usual. We have the Word. Oh my Lord, Hatem. Yeah, Hatem. I want to talk to people who actually know how to track, brother. So this is your mind on Islam, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make this stuff up. Daniel 2 is not about Islam. Trying to let you guys know.
I will say this because he's still in the chat. Ibn Ali, if you ever kind of get outside of the, because there's like 2 reasons why you're trying to defend this, right? You're trying to defend this to show that the prophecy claim what we have is there and it ended, and because you're also trying to make room for Muhammad as a prophet. And so for you, this argument, you're kind of holding on to it for many different reasons. But I think you should take a beat and historically look at how things happened and when they happened, and do it from the outside perspective that doesn't include your Quran. Do that first. And then after you complete it outside of your Quran, then bring that back to your Quran. And if it doesn't fit, then you need to genuinely ask yourself the question, right? Could the Quran be wrong? Is the reason why I'm holding on to a very flawed belief when it's very in front of your face in black and white, right? This isn't one of those things that you have to believe. This is one of those things that's just historically factual. And if you just kind of sit there and unfold it and you logically look at it outside of the Quran, you don't have a problem. The problem is that there's beliefs that he needs to hold on to that are tied to his prophet. And if he doesn't hold on to them, and if he doesn't try to dismantle your belief in Daniel and whether or not he was accurate, then for him, there's no point to this. So it just, my word of advice to him is just take a beat. I don't think that he was actually a bad guest. I actually think that there was a lot of work that he put into that. So I don't know about you, Brother Maverick, but he's not someone I would mind talking to again. That's just FYI.
You know what? If he could stop being, if he can strip himself of the normal Dawah deception, then I'd like to talk to him again. Yeah, if he would stop lying, like for example, guys, and the reason why I'm saying it is because I don't have many triggers, but I will tell you guys that this is one of them. When I say something and then you will sit there later on, whether you're talking to me or not, and I make it clear that I didn't concede to anything. I hate when Dawah duds do that. Don't tell me that I conceded to something that I didn't concede to. All right. Because from my debate brief, I'd made it clear that the Roman Empire began its division in 286 CE. Right. I made that clear. And he tried to say that I conceded that it began in 395 CE. Well, if you want to look at what I have here, what we were looking at, it made it clear that right here, what I have, historical and chronological proofs that the kingdom could not be Islam. The Roman Empire is the 4th kingdom, not Arabia. It divided into east to west around 286 AD. What does the World Wide Web say? 286 AD. So when you guys say that I conceded to something, not only did I not concede to it, but he kept digging and digging and digging. And then when Avery tried to take him to verse 35, his answer was, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to say it. Only in Islam do things not have to say things. And then when things actually say stuff, like in their Quran, all of a sudden, well, we don't understand it to mean. The Muslim Apologetic did that to me when we were talking about a detailed explanation of all things. Well, we don't believe that to mean what it actually says. What the hell are you talking about? The words are in front of your face. How do you explain that it doesn't actually mean what it says? Right? This is your mind on Islam.
So when you guys were talking about like the stone, I was going to tell him that when you interpret stuff like that, you have to do it from the Christian perspective. You can't I don't know how to explain this, but he doesn't realize by using other ways to interpret the text so that it identifies with his subjective understanding. He is not using the actual Christian timeline in which we use in perspective for everything else. Right. He can't just utilize one thing, right?
Why not?
Who said that?
Me.
Avery.
Well, my barber's a little late, so why wouldn't he? Why would he use the Christian perspective? He's a Muslim. Why would he do that?
Right.
Well, because he's trying to define something in context of our book, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't believe that the book is Christian. He believes the Christians are wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But he's referencing Daniel. So if we're referencing Daniel, right, then that's definitely on the Christian timeline.
Yeah, but he doesn't believe that these books are Christian books. Like the Christians are wrong.
Right.
These are Allah's books, and Christians are wrong about this.
That's why I wanted to tell him to take a beat, because if you're going to start arguing that, then you're going to have to start having full proof. Because again, everything about the stories, the context, the narrative that we have within the Bible from cover to cover is going to be on a Christian timeline. So you can't talk to us about what happens in Daniel on another timeline. It's on the Christian timeline. That doesn't make any sense.
But they try that with us as well. They say, oh, no, you have to look at the Quran in the Muslim paradigm, which you don't have to do because the Quran points back to the previous scriptures.
Correct. That's
to
different.
be consistent, we have to allow them to try and interpret it in another paradigm, but show them how that paradigm doesn't work.
Right. And that's what Avery and Chris are trying to say, Word, is that I would never expect them to grant us our paradigm. They can try to argue the point from any angle they want, because when we're talking about their paradigm, we do the same thing to them. We obviously make it clear that we know that the Quran is not the word of God. We know that their interpretation of the Quran are ad hoc and false and convenient to their argument at the time, right? It's all over the place, but at the end of the day, I mean, I know what you're trying to say, but he's not going to argue Daniel 2 from a Christian standpoint, because he's been taught Daniel 2 from an Islamic standpoint. Does that make sense? So even though, and you can tell, because he's arguing Daniel 2 the same way that they argue the Quran and the Hadith, with complete ad hoc interpretations, putting in words that are not there. When Avery asked him a question about what the words say, he said, well, that's a verbatim fallacy, despite the fact that he read something into the verse that's not even remotely there. But then when he was asked about something that actually is there word for word, he doesn't want to address it, because he knows if he does, it's devastating to his case. So I kind of understand where you're coming from.
No, and you just said it. You just reiterated what I was trying to say, which is that I understand what you guys are trying to do, and I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying that's not. It's not that it's the wrong way; it's the right way. My message was to him. My message was to him to help him understand why this is why he is having a hard time communicating, and it's because he's reading in context, because I'm not going to say he was stupid. He was actually a pretty intelligent person. Okay, he read in context and he brought it, but the problem with that was that after he did, what did he do? He went to his hadiths and his scholars to try to pick it apart, and then he came back to us with that. My message to him was, you can't bring a defense of what we consider on a historical timeline. You can't bring a defense argument from outside scholars, right, of people who aren't part of our faith,
to a historical context of which fits in a Christian perspective. That's just my message to him.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to tell him he's having a hard time communicating with us because of that.
To go back, guys, I did misspeak earlier, and I'm so sorry. I'm so used to saying that Islam came 600 years later that I accidentally said 600 years when the actual thing was 300 years after the Roman Empire's divided phase began. So correction for that.
I got it. That's why I told him to chill. I didn't just misspoke.
Either way it goes, whether it's 3 or 600 years, it's still way outside of the realm of the prophecy of Daniel, and that's what he wasn't understanding.
And can I say about verbatim fallacy? Verbatim fallacy is expecting the exact words you're hoping for to be in the text. It is not a verbatim fallacy to say, by reading the text, I am making a mistake.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, on the other side of Avery and where you guys are, I did get a restriction message on TikTok. It says because I have a static image or something like that, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to stop getting that, because apparently still images are not something they like, despite the fact that we have 6 people in TikTok alone. So it is what it is. Let's see.
If possible, I don't know if Avery has his haircut started or something. I wanted to ask him something.
He would have left. I think he would have left if he did. Avery, you still here? I see he seems to be away for a second. 2 Wavy requested to join as a guest. Maximum number of guests. Okay, who can we? Marco, since you're here,
can let me.
Marcos, I'm gonna disconnect you for a second, and then I'll get somebody else in here. Let's see. Islam D. Oh, I'm sorry, Islam DK. Did you come into debate, or you just want to sit on the panel?
No. I just want to comment. I don't like debates, but I want to comment a question Logic had.
A question? A question that
yes,
God Logic asked?
Yeah, he asked Ibn Ali about the 10 kings.
Okay. Do you have an answer?
Yes, if it's okay. I'm not so versed as you are, and not so knowledgeable as you are.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, but the 5 kingdoms, I think we agree that it is the Persians and those before the Persians. I think it's Babylon.
Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece, and Rome. Yes, Babylon, Medo Persia.
Yes, Greece and Rome.
Right, Babylon represented by the lion, Medo Persia represented by the bear, Greece represented by the leopard, and the terrifying beast is Rome.
Great. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So the Romans was continued after the Greece, and Persians continued after Babylon, if I'm not wrong. Historically. And then you have the clay on the foot and on the feet. So when the Muslim Empire comes, if we assume the Islamic narration is true, interpretation is correct, so it could see, the scenario could see, look as this, the Muslim Empire race, and one of the first they went to war with was the Ghazanids and the Persian proxy states. So when you count the proxy kings or rulers, which were Yemenis for the Persian Empire, and Ghazanids for the Romans, and some others in the Armenia and so on. I have actually names here, which I looked up. And you have actually 10 rulers, which Muslim defeated in the 1st century after Muhammad sallallahu.
Are the Ottoman Empire heretics? Are the Ottoman Empire heretics, bro?
What you say?
Are the Ottoman Empire heretics?
I'm not talking about the Ottomans. I mentioned the 1st century of the Islam, which defeated, for example, Hormuz, and there's
it's not talking about Persian kings. I asked you the question: are the Ottoman Empire heretics?
Yeah, that's another discussion. But
no. Because you guys claim the Ottoman Empire took over Rome, right? You said it destroyed Rome, right?
I'm from Turkey, so I will never say Ottoman was heretics.
What type of Muslim are you?
I'm Kurdish.
No, I said what type of Muslim are you? What creed do you follow?
I have Sunni background.
Yeah, what Sunni background? Sunni's a lot of sects, so what one are you?
I just call myself Muslim. That's
Okay.
why I'm saying Sunni background.
Okay, so the
I'm
Ottoman
open. I'm
Empire,
open.
the Ottoman
I'm open for
Empire,
every argument.
the Ottoman Empire was full of Sufi Muslims, which go against mainstream Islam.
I have my Sufi aspect also. You can also see it in my TikTok.
Yeah, you know Sufi Islam, according to mainstream Islam, is heretical.
Not all of it. Even if you ask Salafi, there is some Sufi.
Are you a Sufi Muslim?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's heretical according to mainstream Islam today.
No, I'm not. I'm not Sufi from the known Sufi. It's a whole another discussion. I'm following Quran and Sunnah and Sharia.
It's still heretical. So what makes me laugh is the Muslims that try and say the Ottoman Empire is the kingdom of God. They're taking praise from heretics. What joke is this? That's like me saying Aryan Christians are.
But now you are talking with a Sufi that is from the Ottoman Empire.
Gentlemen, I'm going to rein this back in because this is very far outside of what we're talking about. So I want to get back to what you were saying about proxy kings. Okay, now you made the claim that you could name these kings, and even if you could, the problem and the reason why the proxy kings argument doesn't hold up, my friend, is because Daniel's prophecy deals with actual world empires, not local rulers, not proxy rulers, not here's the problem. Okay, I'm trying to explain it to you, right? Each beast or metal, as it is described in Daniel 2 and 7, okay, because we haven't even gotten on Daniel 7 yet, those metals represent a dominant world ruling empire in the forms of Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece, and Rome. Those powers ruled over other nations, right? It wasn't through scattered proxy rulers. So when you introduce the vassal or the subordinate states as successors, it completely contradicts the structure of the prophecy itself, because proxy states never replaced the empires. A proxy or client kingdom operates under another empire's authority. For example, Armenia, right? Or Phoenicia or Gaza were regions under Persian or Roman rule, but none of them defeated or replaced those empires. Now, Daniel's vision shows each kingdom destroying the previous one, the complete kingdom, not proxy kingdom, not proxy rulers. If you look at Daniel 2, 39 and 40, not existing alongside it under partial control. So what you're trying to say would be like, if somebody were to defeat the United States, I know never going to happen, but if somebody were to defeat the United States and say, let's just say, for example, you didn't actually defeat the United States, but you defeated Hawaii or Guam or Puerto Rico. The governor of Puerto Rico does not count as the president of the United States. So your point falls flat on its face, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, can I respond? Is it okay?
Yeah, please.
Yes. The 10 rulers or proxy state, it was only an answer to the question about the 10 chose. But,
okay, so so Avery's question was,
let me finish. I let you finish, but let me finish. I asked you polite, can I respond? And you said yes. But okay, go ahead.
So who are the
finish,
10
and
kings?
I will finish after you.
So who were the 10 kings that were defeated? That's what Avery's question was, and we're still waiting for an answer to that.
Okay, I am humble, and I'm saying I have 10 names here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be them. But there was proxy. You want me to read the names?
Sure, if you have answers.
But look, okay, but is it okay? I first respond to the whole image, to the whole statue.
Well, here you said that you had an answer to Avery's question, and his question was about the 10 kings. So give us the name of the 10 kings, and then we'll move to that next.
Yes, but first you mentioned that we are talking about big empires, and these big empires is actually the Greece and Babylon and Persian and Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is a continuous.
How do you know the fourth empire is Rome?
Yeah, brother. What were the name of the 10 kings? I'm trying to be patient. What were the name of the 10 kings? That's what Avery asked. That's what we're still waiting for.
Okay, I don't know if you don't know them, but you have Hormuz, for example. Okay, he's Narzaban, governor king of Al-Ubula, is in Bahrain. Okay, is a frontier for the Sassanide Persia. That's one of them. Should I continue?
brother, if you don't give me the name of 10 kings, I mean, first of all, I already have a lot to deal with here, but please please continue. Give me all 10.
Okay, there's Zagar. Zagar is the governor of Mesopotamia. Okay, it is the Walaja region. Is an independent field ruler controlling the western satrapy. Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop. Hold on. So give me a second because I see one of my counterparts here. Grafted, go ahead, brother. You have been so patient. Gary, go ahead. Say whatever you got to say, brother.
Wait. The king of Hormuz. That's what's one of the kings that I heard, right? Hormuz, Hormuz.
Yeah, Hormuz.
That's like in Iran, though.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that is why I am mentioning the whole image is also containing the Persian Empire. It's not only the Roman Empire, but who defeated the Persian Empire? Was it the Christian kingdom?
A mix of Roman and Germanic peoples.
Yes, that is only the feet and the legs.
Does that go into Iran?
Yeah, but what about the whole statue? Because the whole statue was destroyed by the stone.
So this is what I was.
It is not only the Roman Empire.
Just hold on this. I was very, very patient when Avery and Ali were going at it, but I knew the answer all along. This is the problem, like the presupposition, and this is why Ali couldn't answer Avery's question when Avery kept asking when does the stone come? Because the first part of Daniel 2 is the interpretation of the dream. Ali kept assuming that the timeline was in Daniel's interpretation. The interpretation is simply telling of the statue. What happens thereafter is Daniel then going, okay, cool, now that I've interpreted it, here's the timeline. Then he speaks about the 10 kings in 244, which Ali conveniently skipped over and said it was a red herring.
Yes, because he doesn't know historical names necessarily.
Yes, but that timeline is very important. We don't worry about the entire statue there. The reason being is because that timeline doesn't encapsulate the whole statue. The interpretation encapsulates the whole statue so that King Nebuchadnezzar can understand that it's a successive replacement of each empire.
Yes.
That's why the interpretation tells us the whole statue.
Amen.
But the timeline doesn't do that when the later interpretation comes in 244. At that point, the kingdom only gets introduced in the time of the 10 kings. Hormuz would not be part of the Roman Germanic split or mix. So that can't be one of the 10 kings.
So,
but the Persian is still one of the continues of the what you call it, the statue.
So
yes, I know.
So Islam DK, real quick, I just want, and I feel that I owe this to you. I know you can't see my screen. I don't show it on that side because for various reasons. You can jump over to YouTube if you want to. Here, guys, and you guys are seeing it on my panel on this side, and I'm going to show it to the stream. This is why I say it's extraordinarily important to do your homework, guys. And I want to show you guys this. Now, say whatever you want about the internet, whatever, right? I typed in the question just out of curiosity because I didn't use Google when I did my debate brief. I said, is there any historical proof that Islam defeated 10 kings as it pertains to Daniel 2? Islam, I'm going to tell you exactly what it says here. There is no historical proof or mainstream biblical interpretation that connects Islam to defeating 10 kings as prophesied in Daniel 2. The prophecy in Daniel 2 describes a large statue representing a sequence of world empires, which are generally understood by scholars and theologians as the head of gold, the Babylonian Empire, the chest and arms of silver, the Medo-Persian Empire, the belly and thighs of bronze, the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great and his successors, the legs of iron, which was the Roman Empire, and the feet and toes of iron and clay, a final future divided form of the Roman Empire, often interpreted as a confederation of 10 kings nations that will exist at the time of Christ's second coming. The 10 kings are specifically mentioned in Daniel 7 and Revelation 17, and most interpretations place their appearance in the end times, immediately prior to the establishment of God's eternal kingdom, symbolized by a stone cut without hands that destroys the statue. This is a huge problem for you, my friend, because the fact that we didn't even get to Daniel 7, and the reason why I'm skipping ahead is because you're not even realizing that not only could this not have happened? It wasn't even supposed to have happened in our timeline yet. It is making it clear that there's nothing in history that even remotely supports what you're saying.
Yeah.
If it is going to happen in the future, there is no Roman Empire back.
No. Listen to what I said. The legs and iron was the Roman Empire. The feet and toes of iron and clay represents a final, future, divided form of the Roman Empire, often interpreted as a confederation of 10 kings or nations that will exist at the time of Christ's second coming. Has Jesus Christ returned?
No, but why are the feet the first one should be straw?
And just because, I just want to make this clear, as a Muslim who looks at the Quran as a holy book, who is the sign of the hour in your book?
It's Jesus.
Exactly. So then even you would have to acknowledge that even if you don't believe in Jesus as the Savior or as God, even your book says that he is the sign of the hour, and you have to acknowledge that he has not returned yet because the hour has not transpired, which this makes clear that there were no 10 kings that Islam could have defeated.
That is when the mountains get big and covers all the earth. But the first strike is on the feet. It's not on the image itself.
DK,
the image gets destroyed after the feet get struck.
It is inconsequential because I already explained to you that the 10 kings are specifically mentioned where? In Daniel 7, and where else? In Revelation 17. And most interpretations place their appearance.
I don't believe in Revelation. But if you say Daniel 7 to
you can't believe in Daniel 2 and not believe in Revelation and not believe in Daniel 7. You know what the problem is? Daniel 7 still disagrees with you. The 10 kings are specifically mentioned in Daniel 7.
Let's check Daniel 7.
We can check Daniel 7, but do you agree that this is making it clear that the actual history shows that what you're saying is nonsense? There is no historical proof.
No.
Okay. Again,
neither me and neither you, we have no absolute knowledge.
I do. It's called the Bible. Oh, I do it. It's 100% called the Bible, and it's called history.
I just take him through this.
Go ahead, Gary. Please. No, go ahead.
I will literally read the entire Daniel 2
Please, you know what? You are welcome to, my brother. Feel free. Go ahead.
Guest, do you see that from verse 36 in Daniel 2? From verse 36, right? This is after that whole statue image is already given, and the rock that is cut from the mountain crushes the feet, and then the statue falls over, right? Like, that is, verse 36 is now saying that was the dream. That was the dream. Now we are going to interpret it to the king, and they're going to give the king the timeline. Now notice just before that, in verse 34, it says, while you were watching, so while the king was watching the statue, a rock was cut out, not by human hands, and it struck the statue at the feet of Iron and Clay and smashed him. Okay, then the reason that that's
so the feet gets the first strike. The feet gets the first strike.
Yes,
the feet gets the first strike. Correct?
Yes, I know.
Okay, continue.
It's part of the dream that the king has, that he's looking at the statue, and while he's watching, a stone is being cut out and then strikes the feet. Okay, cool. Now, from verse 36 down, that's the timeline that's being described. And you can see that the flow of this is that Daniel says to the king, you are the goal, after you another kingdom, and then another kingdom, and blah, blah, blah. And in 44, it says, in the time of those kings, God will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end. And then, but it's awfully different. And then 45 says, this is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out. So the kingdom is actually established before the rock itself is cut down and strikes the feet. That's actually what Daniel is saying. He's saying that while the kings
can you repeat that again? I didn't hear you.
Gary,
which part didn't you?
Gary, do you want me to bring up Daniel 7 on the screen just so if there's anything?
Daniel 2.
The last thing is the stone. You said the stone got cut and strike the feet.
Sure. So So in the initial interpretation of the king's dream, right, there's a statue laid out, and Daniel describes the vision to him, and then thereafter it's interpreted to the king that the king himself is the gold head, and Daniel then explains all the successive kingdoms after him, that it will be the next one and the next one and the next one down to the feet. Then it says in those times of those kings, God is going to establish the kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left on other people. He will crush those kingdoms, bring them to an end, and it will endure forever. Verse 45 says, this is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of the mountain. So what it is saying is that the same rock that is cut out of the mountain is the kingdom God prepares during the time of the 10 kings. What that means is that it's not possible for the rock to only come later and strike the feet. The rock is actually already being established in the time of the 10 kings. Do you understand that that's actually the timeline Daniel gives, not the interpretation of the
Yes, I respect your opinion, of course, and
It's
interpretation.
literally
But
the text. That's what I'm showing you. It's not an
yes,
interpretation.
it's okay. It's okay. You believe that, but what I'm saying logically, it doesn't. What you are saying logically, it's okay. But what I'm saying is also logically okay, because my kingdom was raised among these proxy kings I was talking about. It was also raised amongst these 10 kings. And
No, it wasn't.
my
That's the problem.
makes
Your
more
kingdom
logical
comes
sense
600
because
years after
the
Christ.
feast
That's the
gets the
problem.
first strike. The feast
Your
gets the
kingdom
first
comes
strike.
600 years after. That's the problem.
Yes, but the feet gets the first strike. But you are talking about the feet will have the last strike in the end time.
You are conflating the actual vision of the dream with the timeline of the kingdom being established. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
Daniel is clear that the kingdom itself is established within the time of the 10 kings, not the time that the stone hits the feet. That's my point.
And
so Daniel 2 comes in two parts.
And Islam and Gary, I want to interject real quick. Also, you keep skipping over the fact that you're telling Gary that you're being logical, but you guys are completely ignoring the fact that the prophecy, the dream, is talking about a kingdom that is forged without human hands. It is not human hands that forge them, right? Without hands. So how can you say that it is logical? How can you say that your interpretation is logical despite what Gary is saying to you?
Yes,
despite the fact that it makes it clear, brother, just wait, okay? Despite the fact that whether you're talking about the Ottoman Empire or Islam as a whole, the conquests have been political and they have been by the sword. Are those human hands, yes or no? Are they human hands? So it's not human beings that are it is not human beings that are rising by conquest. It is not human beings that are waging the war.
It is not us that are creating this. Our belief says whatever action we do, it is God that is creating it.
What the hell? All right, go ahead, Gary.
My point is that the actual establishment of the kingdom, it's too soon to be Islam. Islam comes way too late. The Islamic kingdom is not established until after 600 AD. So this is too late in the timeline, is my point.
Mm-hmm.
Your argument is based on the fact that you think that the stone itself is established as it hits the feet, because that's how the initial explanation of the king's dream is being laid out. And what I'm saying is that's merely just Daniel showing that he understands the king's dream. But Daniel 2 clearly happens in two parts. First, the dream is explained, then the timelines and explanations are given afterward. That's from verse 36 onward. And you can see that thereafter, the actual timeline portion of Daniel 2 is happening in the time of the 10 kings. Islam coming after the 10 kings, that disqualifies Islam. That's my point.
And on top of that, you know what? And I'm going to dissuade you of this supposed logical conclusion that you have come to, DK, because and I'm actually going to appeal to a question that Avery asked, which is a good question, right? If we're looking at Islam, especially in the form of the Ottoman Empire, right? If Islam were truly the eternal kingdom of God that crushes all others, which is your insinuation, it would not have been stopped. But when they continued to try to push west into what we now know as current day Europe, what happened to them?
They got astray from God's straight way, and that's why God took their power. But Islam continues,
No,
and
no, no, no,
Islam
no, no,
is
no, no,
the
no,
most
no, no, no. So here's the thing.
fastest growing
If
religion.
that would have been no. See, you see how what you're doing now? You're appealing to emotion. Okay, it would not have been stopped if it was the one that was from this prophecy, because the kingdom from this prophecy crushes all kingdoms. History tells that story. The Ottomans failed to conquer Europe. They were crushed and humiliated at Vienna, and they were driven back, and they never recovered. So that single question right there highlights that Islam's kingdom, just like Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome, had its moment and fell. You are a failed kingdom in the form of the Ottoman Empire, and Islam still remains contained. Exactly where it is. Yes, it is spreading as far as religion, but the military conquest that you're claiming as being fulfilled in Daniel 2, you guys were humiliated in 1922 in Vienna. So
Yes,
how
but
could you
Vienna
fulfill
was
that? No,
not
no, no.
Roman Empire.
What?
Vienna was not the Roman Empire.
Brother, the prophecy says that the kingdom will reign over and destroy all empires, all earthly empires. It will
That
not
will
be
happen
stopped.
when Jesus comes.
Okay, so Jesus is not a Muslim, so this doesn't pertain to that. Right.
He just proved the point.
Yeah.
He just proved our
When
point,
Jesus comes, Jesus Christ is God and the Messiah.
Okay.
So you're right.
Okay,
When
can
he
I
does,
can I say it now?
Yeah,
Can I
go
say
ahead.
it now, Brother Maverick?
Yes.
Can I say
Yeah.
how this is what I'm talking about?
Yep.
He just said when Jesus comes.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Avery was back on stage, I was trying to make a point, which is that they are using revelation to hold on to this not happening yet.
Right.
And this is what I was trying to tell Avery, that from a Muslim perspective, they are trying to make this fit into their revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem. And it's going to continuously be the problem.
And
Now
you know,
you're
and
making straw man against me now.
so you know what's funny? No, it's not about a straw man. It's just
But
that
you still have the
you're the
text.
one who appealed to our Messiah. You're the
when
one who
I-
said it
when
won't
I
happen until
said-
Jesus
when-
comes.
when I said it will rule over all the world when Jesus comes, that is the portion of the dream when the mountain covers all the earth.
So what you are saying is that the stone eating the feet has a time gap now between when the stone eats the feet and becomes a mountain, which is still not what the text says.
Right.
You've now inserted your own theology into the text.
There you go. That is Islamic revelation. Do you guys see now what's happening?
Yeah.
We see
Okay.
it. We see
I
it,
just,
sister.
I was, yeah, okay. I didn't want to seem crazy earlier. So I wasn't trying to cut Avery off.
No.
I was trying to give you guys more clarity as to where they are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
There is revelation specifically in Islam that they are inserting into our text. And that is the reason for this. And it comes from their revelation area.
Right. So if we look at the table, if we look at the framework, Christianity versus Islam and Daniel's framework, which is from the debate brief that I shared with you guys. If we look at the category, right, under the category of origin in Christianity, right, where it says divine cut without hands, in Islam, it is human and founded by Muhammad. Whether you're talking about Islam as a whole or just the Ottoman Empire, which Central Dawah tried to argue, it is still involved with human hands, right? Not, and I'm not talking about the ad hoc explanation that DK tried to give us, because no matter what Islam does is not God's action, right? Those are still cut by human hands. The reason that it says cut without human hands is because it is going to be established by the Messiah, God, Jesus, right? If we look at the timing, which Gary was talking about, it was supposed to happen during Roman rule in the 1st century. Who was walking the earth at that time? The Messiah. When did Islam come? In the 7th century, long after the prophecy window closed. If we look at Christianity's spiritual transformation, that is how Christianity spread, as opposed to Islam, which spread through military conquest. If we look at the duration, the kingdom will be eternal. If we look at Islam, their major kingdom, the Ottoman Empire, their reign ended in 1922. And finally, if we look at the nature, Christianity is spiritual and global. If we look at Islam, it is political and temporary. So nothing that you said even remotely lines up, my brother. I'm sorry.
Okay, but can you
Really
explain
quick,
this?
I've been sitting here.
Yeah, Johnny, go ahead, please.
Silently
You chime
for
in
a
whenever
while.
you
I
want.
wanna
I'm
say
sorry.
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think one of the Muslims earlier did mention that via agency, the Ottomans established the Islamic Empire over the Romans. But the thing is, the text says made without hands, right? The empire is supposed to be established without, and as I mentioned, without human means. If you look at the second time that phrase is used, it's used of the death of Antiochus Epiphanes, who died without human means. And so you can't appeal to the Ottomans because it has to be. What's going on here?
No, there was a Delmy has an echo, but I muted him. I don't know why it's coming. I think his speakers are coming in through his microphone, so I muted him.
All right, but yeah, so you can't appeal to the Ottomans because that would not fulfill the criteria of being made without hands. That would then be the kingdom being established by hands. Just want to say that real quick. You guys can get going.
Oh no. Yeah, and you know what? But you know what's even what I wanted to point out? Islam, this DK, whatever your name is. You know what I find interesting, and maybe you can explain why you tried to do this. But when you came in, you claimed that you had the names.
No,
of the
I didn't. I didn't make a claim, brother.
You said that you could answer.
If you remember how I started, I said you are more versed
brother,
than
stop.
me.
You said that you came in that you were going to answer the question that Avery asked about the 10 kings. That's what you said. You can rewind. You can
I have
listen.
a supposed. I have a supposed answer. I have a suggestion. I also mentioned neither me or you. We have absolute knowledge.
Right. So speak for yourself, because I do have the knowledge because I'm looking at history and I'm looking at the Bible. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to basically throw your arms up in the air because you've been defeated on the point and say, well, there's no way to really know.
No, I'm just saying God has the absolute knowledge.
But you came in and you made the claim that you could answer the question about the 10 kings. When we pressed you on it, you could not. And then when I went back to my debate brief and I showed you categorically why this could not be about Islam, your answer was, well, it hasn't happened yet because Jesus hasn't returned. I don't understand. You're saying that you can answer the name of the 10 kings that Islam defeated, but then when we asked you, you couldn't. And then you stated that it didn't happen yet because Jesus hasn't come. Is that a fair and accurate synopsis to you guys when he came in and he said that he could answer the question, and then he actually 100% conceded and said it's because Jesus hasn't come back yet? I don't understand. I don't get it.
You're making straw man.
It's a straw man. All right. Well,
it's a straw man from your words.
Right. Thank you. Here, straw man yourself in the comment section.
But it's not like it didn't happen that way.
Right. Yeah. I'm literally summarizing what happened. The beginning of the conversation, I can give you the 10 kings. Okay, who are the 10 kings? 20 minutes later, we still don't have the 10 kings. When I show you categorically that it can't be, you say, well, Jesus hasn't returned yet. I don't understand. Did Islam fulfill the prophecy or did they not? Because if you're saying that Jesus hasn't returned yet, you're acknowledging that they haven't.
Yeah, it's like their later prophecy, it reinterprets how their revelation reinterprets how our earlier prophecy is laid out. It's weird. It's like, let me take the end of our revelation and insert it as the conceptual basis for your early prophecy. What?
Yep. You know what I'm going to do? Word on this side. Go ahead, Johnny. Word on this side. I'm going to end and I'm going to restart because it said that I only have a static image, so it restricted it. So the numbers are going to keep going down. Everybody here who's on this side, I'm going to end it. I'm going to be live again in about 2 minutes, so just go ahead and jump back in on that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I wanted to ask a question because I was a little confused when you pulled up the Google because the Google used a different interpretation of the 10 kings than I think Avery and everyone else was trying to run. Google. Because I'm trying to open up the stream again in a second here.
I have it up. I don't know if you.
Yeah, because that one is the futurist interpretation. I don't know if that's that slide, but that was the futurist interpretation that the 10 kings are a revived Roman Empire, whereas it sounded like everyone else earlier was trying to argue that this was something else in history.
This is oh, are you talking about this one?
Yeah,
the only thing I asked was basically I was just trying to show the chat a cursory search that even if you don't know anything about this and you actually look at it, it makes it clear that even historically there's no interpretation that connects Islam to defeating 10 kings. That's all I was trying to do. I don't know what because I think that Google now they'll search a bunch of different things and then give you an answer, and then they show you here like where they're pulling their answers from. So I don't know if they pulled like the most common argument or whatever it was. But go ahead, talk about that, Johnny.
Yeah, because that one is I think that's the most popular view among Christians. I think, I'm not sure, but that one would be the futurist interpretation of Daniel, that this kingdom has not come yet. It's here in a sense, but it's not fully manifest until Christ returns, and then he will establish a literal 1,000-year reign. And then they connect that to Revelation 20. But I don't think that's what, I mean, you can, if you are a futurist, you can run that, but I don't think that's what we were trying to run here. I mean, me personally, I don't hold to the futurist interpretation, so I wouldn't use that. But that was something I was a little confused about, because when you pulled it up, I was like, wait a minute, I don't think any of us here really hold to this. I don't know, maybe Chris did hold to it, but
I was just trying to distinguish. I was just trying to help distinguish that the first time the statue is displayed, that's not actually the timeline being given to us. We just know that the actual feet being smashed by the stone is like the finality of the kingdom, spreading, taking over. But the timeline simply comes later on in the time of the 10 kings. Daniel's very clear with King Nebuchadnezzar that that's when God is going to establish it. Like I would say I wasn't taking a purist, not purist, futurist like stance either. I was just helping distinguish the actual flow of Daniel chapter 2 for our guests, so that because Ibn Ali had also presupposed to our guests, to Avery. Ibn Ali was constantly presupposing to Avery that the kingdom comes when that rock hits the feet, which is not actually what Daniel was saying in the text to King Nebuchadnezzar.
Correct. All right, we're gonna go ahead and see if this camera thing works here. You guys can keep talking. I'm working on this time.
There's someone on the panel, Alan.
Yeah, someone just joined the panel.
Alan, go ahead.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how this works. I don't mean to bother you if you guys are doing something.
No, go
I just have a question.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I'm having the after effects of sickness, so my voice sounds weird. I'm like breathing.
Dude, no, my voice is dead too. I'm getting over a cold. Well, I guess I have a thing for you. I'm assuming you guys are all Christians.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I assumed as much. I know. I just saw open questions / debate or whatever. Like, I'm not here to debate. I wanted to get another perspective on this. So, sorry for the ins and outs. I'm just trying to think of a way to word this. I grew up relatively Christian, right? I'm in my early 20s now. And I've just become less and less religious as time has gone on. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure that's a story you've probably heard before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I assumed as much. So, I guess I got a question for the brother Maverick, because I was looking through your channel, and I've been trying to find good faith-based channels to kind of get me back on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you did a short. What are we allowed to talk about here? Are we talking about anything? I don't mean to just come in and just start saying stuff.
No, I mean just the usual words that you try not to say when you're on social media. That's all.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, he means talking topic, talking points, not like...
Yeah, he was asking about that topic, I think.
Oh, yeah, the topic is about Daniel chapter 2 not being about Islam. But if you have a question, you're struggling with your faith, that's more than welcome, of course.
Nah, I don't think. This might not be the place. I might catch you another time. But thank you.
It's up to you, brother, yeah. If you want to ask your question, you're more than welcome to.
Well, my question is, I don't like a lot of quote-unquote Christians. I have nothing really wrong with the faith and the interpretations of it. I have a problem with the way that people are interpreting it. And obviously I'm not the authority on it.
Well, when you say interpreting it, what do you mean people and what are they interpreting that you have an issue with is my question.
I mean, specifically, I am not a fan of everyone parading Charlie Kirk as some like ultimate Christian like harbinger of good.
Okay.
I think he was kind of not a good person, no matter how Christian he said he was.
That's okay. That's a good place to start. Let me ask you a question. You think you're a good person?
No, not particularly. I think I try to be a good person, but I don't think I'm great.
No, there's no. So what does Jesus say? What does Jesus say about people being good?
Yeah, we are. We just have to work for it.
No, that's not what he says. That's not what he says.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because explain further.
Jesus says there is no one good except God alone. Your righteousness is but dirty rags to God, my friend. So when you try to so I mean if your problem is with Charlie Kirk, it sounds like you disagreed with him more politically than you did anything else. But if you did, and that's fine, you have the right to do that, then you have to ask yourself what portion of his politics did you agree with, and you have to ask yourself, did that portion of his ideology align with Christian values? Right. I don't know that Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I don't. So what's concerning to me is that you feel like there was a portion of his politics that didn't align with Christian values because he didn't agree with feminism. He didn't agree with abortion. He didn't agree with criminals being given rights where police officers are demonized. So I'm very confused when you say that you have a problem with it. Like, if you didn't like him, you didn't like him. I get it.
Well, no, I mean, it's specifically his views on no exception abortions.
Right. So again, do you believe that babies are human beings?
To an extent, yes.
No, it's either yes or no. There is no extent, brother. Either if you
Well,
are you
a baby?
Are you a Christian?
Baby?
Are you a Christian?
I mean, I pray from time to time, yes.
Okay. So here, let's put it. So okay, you know what? Then let's put that to the side for a second. Then okay, let's put that to the side for a second. If you are because from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like you're a Christian. So here, let's do it this way. You believe in
the things that people say to me that make me not want to be one anymore.
Yeah, and that's fine. But at this point, again, the things you're saying already just go to show that you don't have a relationship with Christ to begin with, and that's fine. I'm not judging you. I'm just letting you know that just off of your demeanor and your statements right now, there's no one that actually has a true relationship with Christ that could say babies are human beings to a certain extent.
I mean, what counts as a baby, though? That's the question.
Okay,
that's not a moral question.
No. When does life begin?
See,
you see, I don't care what you believe. I'm asking you what the general consensus is from the scientific community about when life begins.
The general consensus is now using the heartbeat.
No, it's not.
Instead of just
conception. No, it is not. No, it is not.
Really?
You lied. The general consensus is not now that it has been a heartbeat. No, because I cannot stand. Alan, don't lie, brother. Don't lie. Don't get yourself booted. Okay, you're coming in here. You started off talking about that you're Christian and you're this and you're that and you hate the way people interpret and you don't like Charlie Kirk. Now we're getting to the crux of it. Because you are sitting there on my show trying to justify taking the lives of innocent human beings that can't speak for themselves. And now you're trying to lie about what the data and the consensus actually is, which you will never damn do on my show. So I'm going to ask you again. And if you lie, I'm going to boot you. When does life begin?
Before he goes on, I'm going to head out now. Just
all right, Johnny. All right, thank you.
See you.
Goodbye.
Later, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll run it with you. That's not even really. I'm not a fan of it, for the record. I would not ever go through that if I was going to have a child with someone. I wouldn't want them to do that either.
Okay, so if you wouldn't do it, then why do you have a problem with someone who stood so staunchly against it as a Christian man?
I'll tell you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this story. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Because this was like kind of the turning point. No pun intended. Obviously, I'm not happy that he died. For the record, if that's what you think I am.
I didn't say that.
Okay, fair enough. Just want to get that out of the way. I read a story a few months ago. That genuinely shook me. It kind of ruined my day and kind of made me rethink a lot of this because I was very staunchly against abortion for most of my life. Like, again, any exceptions, right? So are you guys for any exceptions, or it's just flat out it is murder and there's no reason it should ever happen?
That is my stance. There is no reason to take the life, give capital punishment to a child for any reason whatsoever when they had nothing to do with whatever circumstances may have contributed to their conception.
Have you heard of the story of Milo?
No.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, brother. My mic freaked out. Have you heard of the story of baby Milo?
Nope.
Okay. Would you mind if I explain it quickly?
Go ahead. I'll give you a minute.
I think it could give you a better idea.
I'll give you a minute because I want to get back to my topic.
Okay, I understand, but I really want to hear your response to this. So, it was two parents were ready to have a kid. They already had a son, and they were ready to have another. They planned this. They were going about everything in the right way. Their family, you know what I mean? It's not the conception itself is not the issue. The problem is that about halfway into pregnancy, they were doing routine ultrasounds, and this happened in Florida, by the way. They were doing routine ultrasounds, and they found out that the baby's kidneys were not developing, and he would be dead within hours max, the moment that he would be birthed, right? And so in most situations and in most states, they would not consider that an abortion. They would consider that a medical thing for the mother's sake, because it would save her a lot of pain, effort. It wouldn't have to induce labor that actually could harm her. But in Florida, because of the heart rate, the heartbeat bill that they passed, she was forced to carry the baby to term.
Okay.
She was forced to go 12 hours of labor just to birth a baby that died in her arms in 90 minutes.
Okay.
And I have to ask, and it really changed my perspective on this, because obviously I'm not for abortion, but I do not think that they saved a life in that situation. I think that they ruined. She's now $19,000 in debt because of the situation, because of watching your child die forever.
$19,000 in debt.
1 second.
So are you saying she didn't have insurance?
Yes, I'm saying even with insurance, they billed her to the absolute max and covered the funeral cost as well. I mean, like,
so you want to know? So you want to know my opinion on it?
She watched her child die in her arms. The entire family was just sitting around here, and they are traumatized from this. And I do not consider that a godly action.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, and Alan, I want you to know that
No, please prove me wrong. Please tell me what I'm missing.
Okay. Can I finish my answer?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Do not interrupt me again. Okay. I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that the situation was difficult. Now, number one, there's nothing about being a Christian or nothing about life that guarantees that you're not going to deal with adversity, right? God is the author of life. Now, you say that they did ultrasounds, they did tests, and they knew that the baby wasn't going to make blah, blah, blah. Number one, human beings are wrong every day. But even though they're right a lot of the time, it still does not mean that just because that child wasn't developing the way that it should, that anyone has the right to steal that baby's life away. Because even though he only or she only lived for a few hours, are you the author of life? Are human beings the author of life? Or is God the author of life?
I suppose God is.
Thank
but
you.
I don't think,
so having
God
said that,
didn't
whoa,
create
hold on,
life
stop.
there.
Yeah, God did create life there because God creates all life. In Psalms 139:13, it says, "You knit me together in my mother's." Hold on, stop. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to rebuttal instead of actually listening, because you don't really know how this works. And that's the reason why I said you don't really have a relationship with Christ, because of 1 Corinthians 2:14, you're actually unable to see this through the eyes that you would if you were actually consumed by the Holy Spirit, which is why I'm explaining it to you, okay? God is the author of life. Whether you lose your life a few seconds into life or you live till you're 120 years old, what I find interesting about people who hold the opinion that you do is that when a person passes away and they're very elderly, nobody questions it. Even though God is still the one that took that life away. God ended that life. But when God ends a life a lot earlier than you think it should, all of a sudden it's a travesty. The problem is that you say that, because of the heartbeat law and because it wasn't really a life. Number one, you don't get to dictate when that is and isn't a life, because there could have been some miracle. You know what? I never said that I did.
DeSantis does. That's what I don't understand about this, brother.
So
You're
again,
not proving anything.
It's not about proving anything. It's about the
You're
fact
actually making me less faithful. I don't know why you're arguing with me.
Alan, I don't. Okay. Stop. You're muted now. You're muted now because you're starting to irritate me. Okay. because I made it clear to you that this is not about me and what I think. What I'm explaining to you is that I submit to God's authority. You and people like you feel like you don't have to submit to God's authority because it's less convenient. You may have been traumatized by it, but you know what you didn't? You know what you didn't do? You didn't steal that mom's moments that she did have with that baby for the few minutes or the few hours that she did. I promise and guarantee you that if my wife and I had conceived a child and they told my wife that, hey, you know what? This baby's not going to make it. The baby will be alive for a few minutes, a few hours after. Even though it would completely shatter our hearts, my wife would, first of all, if I suggested an abortion to my wife under those circumstances, she would smack the piss out of me. You know why? And I would deserve it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to steal a mother's only moments with her child that she'll never get back, or that she would have never had if she would have went in there with a machine and tore that baby apart before it even had a chance to share those few precious moments with their mom. So where you see travesty, you see travesty, other people see the moments that can never be gotten back, right? So when you say that, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because this isn't about Ron DeSantis. This isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is about the fact that thousands of years ago, it was established that God was the author of life. Again, Psalm 139:13. For you knit me together in my mother's womb. So it makes it clear. And you know what's even crazier that I think that we're having a disconnect here is that you stated this is what's funny to me. You stated that God was not the one who created the life there. I don't know who the hell you think you are by saying that God is not God creates every atom, the creator of the universe. And you're going to sit there and tell me that, and as a father of several children, I will tell you that the opinion that you hold to me is disgusting. And I no longer have any desire to talk to you. None whatsoever. Please don't ever call my show again. Go ahead, Gary. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Can I have one last thought that I have another question for you?
Gary wants to talk to you. I no longer have any desire to talk to you. I'm not going to lie.
Maverick's probably not going to speak to you.
Okay, so I joined this to hear your opinion and to just see what an actual faithful man had to say, and you insulted me. I'm telling you that I'm wavering on my faith. You're telling me that I have no relationship with Christ. Is that Christ-like? I don't understand the thought process behind that. And for the record, the mother wanted the abortion. And for the record, the baby came out blue. They couldn't even harvest his organs. It was not a baby. It was an amorphous creature that haunts them. They wrote an entire article about this. It ruined their lives. She wanted nothing to do with it. And I think that for you to say that, you're going to take a mother's precious moments away from their child, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think this is a good way of getting young people to be more faithful. I think it's disrespectful, and I think it's kind of cowardly for you to move behind that. And you can tell him that I said these things. I know he doesn't want to talk to me. And that's fantastic. I came here and saw this was a serious moment. I really wanted to just hear what he had to say, and he insulted me. I don't understand. In fact, I'm actually probably less faithful than I was before. I don't understand this strategy
isn't the way to get your opinion heard.
This emotional blackmail.
Yeah.
So look, I hear you on that.
I'd like to hear someone else's opinion on this.
Yeah, look, I hear you on that, especially when you're someone who is seeking a reason to, I don't know, reinforce the Christian view on this. My question stems from, I think, the political side of things, right? Like, I sense that your issue here is the autonomy of a woman over her body and various things like that. And the thing that I would want to say is that just because we know that a child is going to have difficulty or a baby may not survive birth, that doesn't mean that this is not a life.
Right.
So the problem becomes, what's the value of life then?
Right.
So do you have an issue with capital punishment? Do you have an issue with the death penalty?
Just hold on. And I'm going to tell you why I say this. Unlike Maverick, I've had one exception in my entire life where I felt perhaps an abortion was justified. So I kind of see myself in the same boat as you. And I'll tell you the story. It was a little girl. I think she was a victim of assault. And this was in a country where it was illegal, but they wanted to do an abortion. And the entire community was so enraged that they were willing to basically like go and attack the medical staff. And I was so shocked about it that I was like, this girl could lose her life. Her body can't handle it.
Yeah.
I understand so what I'm saying is I understand the questioning within yourself to be like, how can Christians like not even want to like understand that there could be exceptions to the rule? My advice to you is that you shouldn't be judging what Christians say based on how certain Christians treat the exception to the rule. What Christians are anal about is the fact that there are people out there who don't want to see these babies as life, irrespective of when life begins. I do believe life begins at conception. So though I know you didn't get what you wanted from Maverick, I don't think that this is necessarily a reason to lose faith.
Right.
I'm gonna be real with you. That was one of the most disrespectful things that I've heard in my. You don't understand. I understand your perspective. I do, because I was your perspective, and I still am to an extent. I just can't believe how combative you were about the situation. I do not see that, whether it's God's creation or God's design. I think that it's incredibly callous for you as a Christian man with Christian values to not give any amount of empathy to that situation and to say that you don't want to talk to me anymore because I dare disagree with you on the fact
This
that
isn't
mother
about.
had
This
to
isn't
watch.
about. This is not about disagreeing with me. This has nothing to do with disagreeing with me. It has everything to do. It has. It has.
I don't think that a woman should have to watch a blue fucking amorphous baby die in her arms in 99 minutes.
Again, it's not your call. Again, not only is it not your call, but the fact that you're too myopic to even see what I was actually saying just goes to show why I said I didn't want to talk to you to begin with, because this has nothing to do with disagreeing with me. It has everything to do with you and the rest of society and the cancer that it has become about the way that you look at life and the way that you look at unborn babies. So don't give me this crap about me disagreeing with you. This is about the cancer of society that we live in that looks at unborn babies and says that they are no longer considered life because it's inconvenient, because it's hard. Maybe if you weren't so damn soft, you wouldn't look at so many situations as hard, and you wouldn't be looking at unborn babies, defenseless people who have no voice for themselves, and say, but by the way, we're not going to consider that life. To say nothing of the fact that there's over 1 million abortions every single year in this country alone, and over 95% of them have nothing to do with medical disaster anyway. So do me a favor, get the hell off my channel, dude. This is why I stopped discussing abortion. And I'm not going to apologize to anybody for sitting here and trying to talk about a blue and amorphous baby who's gasping for air. You know what? At the end of the day, if the mom decides that she wants to have those moments with her child, who the hell is he or anyone else to take those moments away from that mom? And who are we as people to sit there and say that that life is not worth having, even if it's only for a few seconds? But no, it's okay though. It's okay, because people on the internet say that it's not really a homicide. It's not really a schmurder, because guess what? Because they're still in the womb, so it doesn't really count. Get the hell out of my face, dude. Get out of my face. Yeah. I had a relationship with every one of my kids from before they were born. I used to talk to them. I used to sing to them. My son used to give me his hand through his mom's freaking, through this. He used to put his little fist on her stomach, and I used to grab his little hand. You're going to tell me that's not a life? Get the hell off my channel. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want to talk about it no more. Prophet Daniel has spoken, is here on the other side. Welcome, brother.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, man? I'm good. I'm sorry. We had a guest who came in on the other side that just came in with his idiocy. I'm sorry.
No, you just worded that so accurately.
Thank you.
I mean, these are vicious monsters who want to kill life in the womb.
Yeah. They appeal to the exceptions and the horror stories of the exceptions, but it doesn't change our views on life.
Right.
That's what I was trying to kind of convey to him, just from like a more empathetic point of view. But
yeah. Prophet Daniel has spoken. Are you calling? You probably calling about the prompt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I just thought I'd check. Like, I love you, brother Maverick, and also Grafted brother is here. I suppose I can recognize his voice.
Yes, that's it.
I mean, you both of you are great people. I mean, I love you, and I think we can have more discussions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like pre-arranged discussions.
For sure.
Open discussions, not necessarily. I mean, I'm not here to win any argument with my Christian brothers. It's all about understanding the truth.
Amen.
And I mean, the Quran, as a Muslim, the Quran is only like 23 years of communication that God made with the Arabs. But God has spoken to human beings for a millennium before the Quran. Like even if you go back to Abraham and exclude the intertestamental period, but still it counts to be like a millennium of communication that God has made with the Israelites, and Israelites have the record of it.
Yeah.
So there is so much that we can learn from each other and appreciate truth, appreciate God, rather than just trying to win over each other, which is not my ideology, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just saw the prompt. I mean, I never saw you on TikTok. This is the first time I'm seeing you on TikTok.
Oh, the first time that I so when I met you, I wasn't going live on the other side, but I realized there were a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily be on YouTube that would call in. So I just opened it up as a platform for people to be able to call in. That's all.
Yeah, but I see TikTok is a more vicious place. I mean, there is more spicy,
absolutely, for sure,
environment on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it's not just the Christians; it's Muslims also.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Just yesterday, I went into a Muslim live, and they were mistreating a Christian fellow who just left the stream. And I went in and I told them, "Can you just be respectful?" And they sort of went dogs on me.
Well, Daniel, and I no way am I saying this in a mean way, but you're getting well known in social media. But for example, I was actually at work when you were debating Sam Shimon, and I actually couldn't wait to see that, because I was like, I know the personality of both of these guys, and I can tell you right now, Daniel is a very, very calm person, and Sam Shimon is not a calm person at all. So it was very interesting to see the back and forth. I mean, there was a lot of substance there in the debate for sure. But the reason I say that is because I was actually looking at what some of the Muslims were saying about you during the debate. And I was like, man, these guys are absolutely ridiculous. Like it was vicious, but it was unnecessarily vicious, right? Like if you disagree, fine. But just, the name calling and, he's a dog and this and that, and he doesn't consult hadith and blah, blah, blah. And now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see how, as a Muslim, you could actually consult hadith the way Sunni Muslims do, because we have gone over that on this channel time and again about how the Quran itself says not to consult outside hadith, and they do so anyway. But that's a conversation for another time. But yeah, go ahead, Brother Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really... I believe that there can be a way where Muslims and Christians can come along and create this good trend on the internet. Not that we all have to convert each other, not that, because even the God of the heaven is not strong on it. Like the God of the heaven already, in my opinion, like even the Roman Catholic Church, for example, the Pope, they recognize that Muslims are monotheists, and as such they also, I think I read this letter that released by the Pope, where they say the Muslims, because they believe in one God, will also have salvation. I think I read this somewhere, all right? But if that is true, then there is such a nice stage for us to come together and praise and sing the glory of God together, not necessarily wanting to convert each other, but because we are monotheistic, although we have differences of what it is, and some groups among Christians would say Trinity is true and all of that sort of stuff, but we can keep those things suspended for a while and find out how collectively we can be a good force in the world. I mean, that's possible. I don't know why people may not think that it is possible, but it is certainly possible. And that would be the future of the world. I mean, where peace can be, built on this premise that Muslims and Christians can function together, rather than always trying to oppose each other, and which is not going good in a way.
Go ahead, Chris.
It's hard when the Quran talks about killing us, or the only peace that we can have is in humiliation and submission. I like your idea. I would love for there to be a peace, but it seems difficult when Allah is telling Muslims to kill us.
Maybe that's you might have not understood that properly. That verse actually what it says is, if you're fought by the people of the book, then you can fight them and you can subdue them, whatever the language there is, take control of them. But the Quran does not initiate fighting against the people of the book. In fact, the Quran initiates ecumenical service towards the people of the book by opening the idea that we are co-believers. Like mu'minun is the word that Quran uses for the people of the book. So ideally speaking, there is no need for fighting.
But
the Quran only permits fighting
you do
when
not
they are
believe
fought.
in Allah and the last
Only when the
day.
fight, brother. Only when the fight.
No, it doesn't say that. That's
Well,
why
that's
I find it
I
difficult.
do see your point, but that's the context. The context is you fight somebody only when you're being fought.
But
So
Muhammad
that's
didn't
the
do that.
context in the Quran.
think
Well,
Dawah
I
was
should say
difficult.
he did that to the very the only Christian attacks that started in the north of Arabia is because an emissary of Prophet Muhammad, who was taking a letter to the Roman Empire, that convoy was intercepted and killed by the Christians in the north. That's what triggered fighting the garrisons, the Roman garrisons in the north. But to be honest with you, the Quran never recommends starting a fight. It clearly says, God does not love those people who start a fight. So the context is the Quran says to fight the people of the book only when they are fighting us, and otherwise there
Where
is no need to
they
fight
only where they're fighting us.
because I just told you the context is God does not love
No, no,
the
no.
starters of fight.
Where does it say it? Like which verse or chapter?
Let me go to the Quran. Just bear with me. I'll open the computer.
Like I really do like peace, but the peace that the Quran describes is us in a box, and I don't like peace in that way.
And not necessarily, brother. I mean, you may have that idea for some valid reasons, but that's not the idea, right? The idea being, like, for example, in the second battle, in the Battle of Uhud, right? The second battle. In that battle, the Jewish people were on the side of the Muslims. Like the Jews and the Muslims were together in a battle fighting against the attack from Makkah, right? So the people of the book and the Muslims were acting as co-believers, right? So this is the idea in the Quran, the ecumenical service. But only when the people of the book decide to fight the Muslims, that's when God says those verses which you read, subdue them until they are, under control. So that's the only exception. When people of the book fight you, you gotta fight them. That's the only exception, right? So
where does it say that the people of the book started fighting them?
That's just his history. Like when as I told you, when there's a convoy taking letters of communication from Prophet Muhammad to the Roman Empire, to the Roman officials, that convoy was intercepted by the Ghassanids. I think. Let me figure this out in a minute here, because there's so much information that things are not on top of my head sometimes. Engagement following divisional forces. So it's the battle of Muta, right? Was a sharp response to the killing of Prophet's envoy en route to the Ghassanid ruler, Shurabil ibn Amr, in the Levant. The Ghassanid garrisons functioned as vassals to the Roman Empire. This act of violence was considered a violation of diplomatic norms and a breach of trust. It became a catalyst for military expeditions against the Ghassanids to ensure the safety of Islamic envoys and to protect the burgeoning Muslim community from external threats. Although the Battle of Muta did not result in a decisive outcome, the subsequent military operations, such as the expedition of Tabuk in October 630 and operations dispatched under Osama bin Zayd in June 632, at the time of the death of the Prophet, to avenge for his fallen father, commander in the Battle of Muta, paved the way for both diplomatic engagement and securing a military foothold in the region, and contributed to the expansion of the Islamic State in the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. So this is about the Battle of Muta, as I just read to you, one of the commentaries. So there has been some disturbance on that road where an Islamic envoy was intercepted and the members killed. So this is what started the fight between the Christian forces in the north and the Muslims. Yeah.
So Allah wasn't clear in Surah 929 when he started with fight them.
Yeah, I mean, when the verse starts,
fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor comply with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's
that
a
seems
response.
clear. And if Allah was to be clear like he claims, wouldn't he have said only in defense? Or
yeah, so Daniel, the whole verse says, "Fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor forbid what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, nor follow the religion of truth from the people of the book until they give jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued."
Yeah, the context is, again, this is Surah Tawbah, right? The context is, again, the historical development that's happening of this envoy being killed. This is the Surah Tawbah time. This is the time when Surah Tawbah is being revealed, and the backdrop is this envoy is being intercepted and killed. So in this context, the surah should be read. You can't disassociate the material of the surah from the historical backdrop. So it has to be looked into that context.
Can, though, because the context of the Quran is Allah speaking to Arabs and giving a detailed explanation of everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so looking to a later history and reading history back into it and saying, "Oh, Allah didn't mean what He said," isn't what the Quran tells.
Well, if you read these passages in the historical context, it makes perfect sense. That's why it's important to read the Quran in its historical context.
Yeah. As I said, I would love there to be peace, but the problem is the Quran seems pretty clear that peace is either us in humiliation or dead.
Not necessarily, brother. Peace is in cooperation, 100%. The co-believers, like the people of the book and the Muslims together, paid the zakah. I mean, even Muslims don't know this. Muslims think, okay, the non-Muslims have to pay
tax. There's a tax. It's either the option is, pay either believe in Allah or pay a tax if you're going to be a non-Muslim that is dwelling among Muslims, or you could be, I guess. I don't know what we're allowed to say on TikTok. If you don't agree to either be a Muslim or pay the tax, then they result to unaliving you. I think that's what you're allowed to say.
No, that's a very crude way of looking at things.
How's that crude? I just gave you two fluffs. I gave you two fluffs before the third.
Well,
How's that crude?
Daniel, I'm looking back, and this whole, so the entire surah is just like, even one starts off, "This is a discharge from all obligations by Allah and His Messenger to the polytheists you believers have entered into treating with. You polytheists may travel freely through the land for 4 months, but you know that you will have no escape from Allah and that Allah will disgrace the disbelievers." This is talking about Christians and Jews. 9:3, "A declaration from Allah and His Messenger is made to all people. on the day of the greater pilgrimage, that Allah and his messenger are free of the polytheists. So if you pagans repent, it will be better for you. But if you turn away, then you know that you will have no escape from Allah, and give good news, O Prophet, to the disbelievers of a painful punishment. As for the polytheists who have honored every term of their treaty with you and have not supported an enemy against you, honor your treaty with them until the end of its term. Surely Allah loves those who are mindful of him. But once the sacred months have passed, unalive the polytheists who violated their treaties wherever you find them. Again, there's nothing in here about Christians or Jews being the aggressors first. Capture them,
No, that's
besiege
not
them.
about Christians and Jews, brother.
Okay.
Maverick.
So what is this about? Because
those passages are about polytheists.
This
in
is the
Makkah,
same
right?
chapter. So when does it make the distinction between, because according to this is never saying the word Jews. This is not saying the word the people of the book. This is not saying the word Christians. This is literally repeatedly saying pagans and polytheists.
Yeah, mushrikun
And verse
were
30 says
people
the
who were
Jews say Ezra is son of Allah, while Christians say the Messiah. So if it's not talking about Jews and Christians, why
Right.
is the very next verse
Right.
talking about Jews and Christians?
And it says such are their baseless assertions. So now it's literally attacking our belief system. Such are their baseless assertions, only parroting the words of earlier disbelievers. So now this is literally saying that Jesus being God, or Jesus being the Son of God, is literally parroting the words of earlier disbelievers. May Allah condemn them. How can they be deluded from the truth? 931, they have taken their rabbis and monks as well as the Messiah, son of Mary, as lords besides Allah, even though they were commanded to worship none but one God. There is no God worthy of worship except for him. Glorified is he above what they associate with him. 932, they wish to extinguish Allah's light with their mouths, but Allah will only allow his light to be perfected, even to the dismay of the disbelievers. Brother, this is talking about Jews and Christians.
Yeah, that is those passages from 930 onwards talks about Jews and Christians, but before the passages before that is only about the mushrikun, which is like the pagans.
Okay, so either, but Daniel, do you see what the issue is? What 929 says is fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor comply with what Allah and his messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scripture, until they pay the tax, willingly submitting, fully humble. Right. So essentially, so even if everything before 29 wasn't about that, it's commanding people to fight, impose jizya against people who don't believe in Allah, as Muhammad established the idea. And it's literally it's literally stating that what Christians are saying about Jesus is a baseless assertion, and that they're parroting the words from earlier disbelievers. So even if these were not the polytheists and the pagans that was spoken about in 28 and before, Christians and Jews are established as enemy in chapter 9 after verse 29 anyway. So even if that's not what you were talking about 1 through 28, from 30 and on, it still establishes us as the enemy anyway.
No, let me explain this now, okay?
Okay.
So the one of the clause is, if the prohibitions of Almighty God and the Prophet, which means the arrangements, the diplomatic arrangements that Prophet Muhammad had with the people of the book. If the people of the book do not respect those diplomatic arrangements, then is the fight. Like that would mean the people of the book are willing to fight the Islam, all right? But if they are in a diplomatic arrangement, like if they have ties of friendship, then there is no need to
Wait.
fight.
Don't skim past that. Did you just say that God's asking you to unalive and other people, Christians, in the last days? Did you just skim right past that?
Mm-hmm.
What did you just say? Did you just say that in the last? Did you just agree with us, right? That in your revelation, right? God asks you to unalive anyone who's basically not Muslim, so the Christians or Jews. Do you not understand that that's there? What we're saying to you?
I think you're not understanding something. You're not understanding the
It's not the war that happened, it's the war to come. It's imposed jizya.
That's what you're not understanding, and you're not letting me speak as well. Like What I'm
Okay,
trying
sure,
to say
sure.
is,
Go ahead.
as co-believers, even the Jews and the Christians, they paid the zakah with the Muslims, not the jizya. And lots of Muslims don't understand this, okay? Because of the historical context that got developed later on. But if Muslims, Christians, and Jews behaved like co-believers in an ecumenical service towards God, all these three different faiths will be paying the zakah together. But only people who fight the Muslims, when they are subdued, they will be paying the jizya, because anyway they are unwilling to pay anything to the Muslims, and that's why they are fighting them, right? But when they are subdued, they will be made to pay jizya.
Hold on. So there's two things I'm just getting curious. Jizya and zakah, okay? Hold on. Brother Maverick, is this money we give to the Muslims in both sense?
Mm-hmm.
It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this gentleman up here, for the audience listening, I just want to make sure everyone follows. He is letting us know in two instances of which we give them money. Okay, he's trying to tell you that there's two different reasons why we give them money, and both of those reasons are how and why you argue against Islam will determine the way you pay them. If you decide to pay them peacefully, it's like, if you decide to pay them forcefully out of force because you don't want to pay them, right? Then it's jizya, right? So it's like I don't get it. What's the point here? You're using two different terms, but either way, we're still paying you for what?
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain this. It's like this empire, right? It's like in America, for example, if Muslims live in America, they pay taxes.
Right. So you're planning to take over. I forgot. Sorry. I forgot about the whole takeover plan. My bad. Continue.
Yeah, because this is the kingdom of God. That's what Daniel 2 is all about. It's the kingdom of God.
The Islamic takeover, that's what Daniel 2 is about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't know that.
Because Daniel 2 prophesies that the Roman Empire would be subsumed by the Rock Empire, which God of the heaven carves out of his own hand. So when the Islamic Caliphate took over the Roman Empire, God's kingdom is in place, and God's kingdom would exact taxes from people.
Daniel 2 is the takeover of Islam. Got it. That's I'm telling you guys, man, Maverick, brothers on this YouTube, you guys, you're not hearing me. Earlier today, I said Muslims are using their revelation to describe Daniel 2. And my ladies and my gentlemen, please look at the best example. This man just told us Daniel 2 is the Islamic takeover. Daniel 2 is the Islamic takeover of the world. Thank you for letting us know that.
Dear sister,
your God is so kind. Your God is so kind. He's so just for allowing you to unalive all of us. It's not
an option. I mean, people need not unalive anybody, right? That's not the intent of God. God wants to make sure justice prevails and righteousness prevails. And
right. So he wants us to make sure that we pay people that we don't believe in.
If you lived in the territory of God, I mean, everybody, including the Muslims, have to pay the tax.
It's worldwide that you're planning to take over.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Dummy. Go ahead.
God is concerned with the Holy Land. God is concerned with the Holy Land, right?
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah. Yes, brother.
How are you tonight, man?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much. How are you, brother?
Salam alaikum. I'm blessed by the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Hey, let me ask you a question regarding the zakat and the jizya. One is forced and the other one is voluntary. Okay, how much is each? Let's say someone decides to give zakat today and they have $1,000. How much should they give?
Okay, I don't subscribe to the traditional Muslim view on zakat. What I believe is zakat is
you gotta subscribe to your people. What do you mean?
No, I don't.
What do you mean?
Because
what do you mean, Gazab? What do you mean? You gotta subscribe to your people, Gazab, man. You're up here claiming to be a Muslim, and then you say, "But I don't subscribe." No. Come on, man. Subscribe to your people.
Sister, with due respect to you, I'm not going to call you a liar here, all right? with due respect to you, we're trying to understand, all right? So if you're asking me a question, I will express my opinion and my learnings, right?
Sure, sure. You can say it's just weird. It's just weird. That's all.
I'm not a cultural Muslim, and this is precisely why the Muslims don't like me. You know, the cultural Muslims don't like me, and this is the reason.
Well,
and
Daniel,
I've been
you know what?
facing the wrath for all this time.
I agree with that. That's why I established from the beginning that the majority of Muslims look at you as a heretic. And to be fair, you did say that in the beginning when I met you. The Prophet Daniel, this is before I met you. Chris, this is before you started calling in. Word, I hadn't met you yet. The first time I spoke to Daniel, he had made it clear that he was considered a heretic among his people. He does not consider hadith to be the word of God, which him and I agree on that. The hadith is not the word of God, not indirectly or otherwise. But the thing about it is that Daniel, I do have something you said piqued my interest, because I want to ask you a question, and some people could probably consider it on topic or not. You said that the Islamic takeover of the world is the prophecy that it is spoke of in Daniel 2. That's an interesting take. Now, you're not talking about the Ottoman Empire, which was humiliated in 1922. You're talking about the cultural takeover, such as the way that they are taking over in Europe and in Africa and in little pockets of America. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm not talking about the cultural takeover.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I don't like the cultural impetus that these pockets of Muslims try to pitch in the Western world.
Okay.
I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that, all right?
Okay.
But what I'm talking about is a territorial takeover. Mm-hmm. And if we examine Daniel 2, for example, if you were to read the whole prophecy.
We did.
Daniel 2, Prophet Daniel starts off explaining to the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. He says, "O king, you are the gold head, because God has given you authority over all the earth, over every flying creature, every land animal, over the entire earth, you have the authority." So obviously the language that's used there in the passage is not global, right? Because we know Nebuchadnezzar did not have kingdom over Egypt, let alone China, right? Not even on Egypt he had the kingdom, right? Mm-hmm. But what is the prophecy in fact then talking about? Why does the prophecy say the entire world? Okay, now that this is where we need to understand something important. For the Hebrews, the Holy Land is their world. The Holy Land means world to them, right? That's their world. So when God of the heaven gives authority to Nebuchadnezzar over the Holy Land, this is the language that is being used relative to the Hebrews. So Hebrews says, in our world, in our whole world, in Israel, in the Holy Land, you have the authority. You are the head of gold. Right? So the Holy Land here is a reference to the world in the scriptural language. So even when in the Quran, God says, you will have authority, what is meant is the Holy Land, right? And because we go back to all of the prophets, we see the language that God chose Israelites as his representatives in the Holy Land so they can impress all other nations to come and worship the God of Abraham. This is the purpose that God has in this land, and that's why he makes this piece of land his holy land. And he has a philosophy in this holy land. He says only meek will worship God in the holy land. And therefore we have what is called as the parable of the tenants, which Jesus explains in the Gospel of Matthew and also in the Synoptic Gospels, that God brings in tenants to the vineyard, but when the tenants do not produce fruit, he will wait for another year. He has been waiting, sending managers, but at the end he has sent his son. And still, if the tenants do not produce the fruit, then he will have them expelled from the vineyard, right? He will bring in new tenants, new people. And this is what we see in Matthew, in the parable of the tenant farmers, right? So the philosophy that God has in this holy land is anybody who don't listen to him gets indisciplined, he will remove them and bring in new people. So that's what he did. When Jesus cursed the Jewish people for not listening to him, the curse was fulfilled in 70 AD. Romans, whom God wanted to defeat, according to this prophecy, ended up actually exterminating Jewish populations from that land. Okay, but then he brought in new people, which were the Arabs, fulfilling the prophecies made to Abraham that Ishmael will be a great nation in Genesis 17. He brings them in, and he reinstates his kingdom in the Holy Land for the next period. And when the Arabs become indisciplined, they fall victims to the hadiths and leave his scripture, the Quran. He brings in new people, the Turkic people. That's when the Ottoman Turks come in, and they become the new kings in the Holy Land for another age. Now, this is again a transitionary period. We are again going through a transition now. There may be new kings to the Holy Land for the next epoch, for the next age. It could be Americans, it could be Russians, it could be Chinese. Whoever God wants to do it, because God says, I'm the sovereign Lord, I'm the one who gives victory in the battles, and I'm the one who turns the hearts of the nations. So God of the heaven does this, right? He's a sovereign God. So he can do this with Americans, with Russians, with Chinese, whoever would qualify. But provided they have to be Muslims, they have to embrace the Quran to become new kings in the Holy Land for another age. This is just how God works. He brings in new tenants.
Okay, so here, Daniel.
It's not about who temporarily governs the land, okay? It's about who establishes, or it's that God establishes an eternal kingdom in Daniel, okay? You are talking about who is temporarily governing land, and that is not what this discussion is about.
Right. So what I want to do, Daniel, and I think you would agree that despite the fact that I was writing a lot of things that I disagreed with, I didn't interrupt you because I wanted to be clear and concise when I provided you with everything that I saw wrong historically and ideologically with what you said. Okay. Now, I mean, there was just so much to get to, and I wrote down as fast as I can. Now, when you say that Nebuchadnezzar was given all Holy Land, right? And that Holy Land just means the world, you're already stretching what that text actually says. Okay. In Daniel 2:37 and 38, God tells Nebuchadnezzar that he has given him dominion, power, and glory over all mankind, the beasts, and the birds. That's not confined to Israel, nor is it anywhere in the text where it says that it is confined to Israel. It's actually describing a global kingdom. And everybody knows that at no point is Israel the one known as a global kingdom. Like the sister just told you, it's describing a global worldwide kingdom in the sense of rule and authority among nations, not a specific sacred, not a specific sacred region.
Not given, revealed.
Correct. So the head of gold isn't about the Holy Land. It's about Babylon's political supremacy on earth at that time. Now, when you try to tie this into the Quran's language about authority in the land and then claim that the Holy Land equals the world, that's where your argument breaks down even more, brother, because in Scripture, Holy Land always refers to a specific sanctified territory that's actually connected to God's covenant with Israel. Okay, if you look at Zechariah chapter 2, verse 12, and the book of Psalms chapter 78, verse 54, it makes that very apparent. But what it doesn't do is that it never becomes a metaphor for the entire world. The world in biblical language, if we go to the Greek where it says cosmos, and in Hebrew it's aretz, has its own distinct meaning. So if we start blending those together, what we're doing is we're actually rewriting the geography and theology at the same time, which obviously we can't do. Now, going to the Messiah, Jesus himself actually...
I have a question though here. Can I ask?
Sure.
Before you go to the Messiah. So I made a point when I was talking about Nebuchadnezzar, how he did not have kingdom over Egyptians, let alone Chinese. So what does that tell you about his supremacy, about his world dominance? What does it tell you?
What does it tell me about Nebuchadnezzar's world dominance?
Yeah, supremacy and world dominance, yeah.
Yeah, so you're making a good point, and it exposes a flaw in how you're reading Daniel 2. When God calls Nebuchadnezzar the head of gold, it's not saying that he literally ruled every square inch of the planet. He didn't control Egypt entirely, and he definitely didn't rule in China, right? But again, that's exposing the flaw in how you're reading it, my brother. That's not exposing the flaw in the prophecy. What God was hold on. What God was describing again was supremacy in the known world of that era. meaning the dominant empire within reach of the biblical narrative and ancient Near East civilization. So the phrase wherever are you familiar with the phrase wherever the children of men dwell in Daniel 2:38?
Yeah.
Okay. That phrase is a figure of speech showing that Babylon held unmatched political and cultural power at that time, my brother. It's the same kind of language that scripture uses elsewhere when it says all the nations came to hear Solomon's wisdom in 1 Kings in chapter 4. It's obviously not every tribe in the Americas or Asia physically showed up, because we know that's not what it's saying. It's describing relative dominance, not absolute geography, which I think that you're confusing.
No, brother, that's exactly what I said.
Use the known world.
Relatively speaking, for the Hebrews, Holy Land represented their world. So when God gave supremacy to Nebuchadnezzar over the Holy Land, this is what the prophecy is describing. So obviously Nebuchadnezzar did not have global dominance or supremacy, but he certainly had all the willpower over the Holy Land. And this is how the Hebrews are talking to themselves. Hebrews are saying, in our land, every beast, whatever lives in our land, you have the authority over it right now because you're the head of gold. So we both, in fact, are agreeing. There is no disagreement that it's relatively speaking to the Hebrews. So in this context, I'm interpreting the prophecy, the entirety of the prophecy, right? In this context alone, I'm interpreting the entirety of the prophecy.
I don't know if you
realize
that
immediately removes Islam from the picture.
Yes.
Because Islam's holy land is not Jerusalem.
Right.
And you would also, the Islamic perception, it presupposes that the land is a dominion in which is being given because of fruits that were earned, which is not it's not inherited. So that is not the type of land that we're talking about. It's a presupposition that is not even introduced. It's just something that is Islamically introduced into the Christian perspective, into the Christian narrative.
And not only that, Daniel, but your interpretation again doesn't actually line up with what Daniel is describing. I'm sorry. The head of gold is not about Nebuchadnezzar's rule only within Israel or the Holy Land. It's about his position at the top of a sequence of empires that rule over nations, not just one territory. As a matter of fact, if you go back to 37 and 38, where it says, the God of heaven has given you dominion, power, might, and glory. In your hands he has placed all mankind, the beasts of the field and the birds of the air, wherever they live. He has made you ruler over them all. That language is not coming from a Hebrew nationalist perspective. It's Daniel, who is a Jewish man in exile, interpreting a vision for a Babylonian king. It's not the Hebrews defining the reach of Nebuchadnezzar's authority. It's God showing Nebuchadnezzar that his kingdom represents the first in a series of Gentile empires that will dominate world affairs until the coming of God's kingdom. This has nothing to do with the way that you're trying to make these geographical assertions. And
Brother,
still, and even then, I mean, we can keep talking about this going round and round and round and round. But at the end of the day, what ends up happening is you still have so much that you need to get to. You still have to talk about the 10 kings that nobody is able, because we searched it while we were live. I even said it just for the sake of people seeing that we're not just here trying to to Muslim bash or Islam bash. I looked at it. I even said, brother, right here in on the web, the first thing I said, is there any historical proof that Islam defeated 10 kings as it pertains to Daniel 2? The very first thing, and you can go, and I will give you every single link, I will give you every single source. The answer that it gives me is there is no historical proof or interpretation that connects Islam to defeating 10 kings as prophesied in Daniel 2. The prophecy in Daniel 2 describes a large statue representing a sequence of world empires, which are generally understood by scholars and theologians as the head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, and the legs of iron, which are the Roman Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire. So we know that. But you still have so much, even outside of this interpretation, which you're free to, Brother Daniel, but you still have to not only get through the rest of the prophecy in Daniel 2 that makes it clear that this is not Islam, to say nothing of the fact that as far as time frame, this could not be Islam. You still have to get through Daniel 7 and Revelation 17, which further hammer down the point that this could not possibly be about Islam.
And brother J49er is on TikTok, and he is like a historical junkie. Like, he's so good when I say that. I mean, like, historical junkie, and he could, rapidly just, oh, hi, J49er. He could, he's and I'm sure, and the thing is that, like, Prophet, I know that you probably know who Jay is, and Jay is hot.
Is it Jay Dryer?
She said Jay is hot.
What?
Did you say Jay is hot?
No, I said you probably know J49er.
Oh, I could have swore I heard somebody say Jay is hot. I was like, what the
hell?
Is Jay Dryer or something?
J49er?
I don't know who you're talking about. J49er is on TikTok. He's here right now. I think you should follow the brother. You're making kind of like historical claims to land and stuff, and you should follow the brother Jay. He can. I'm not trying to like sound, annoying or anything, but when you're starting to make historical claims to us about lands, the only thing that is going to dismantle your belief in this like ridiculous Islamic rhetoric is if somebody actually shows you on a map how and why this is not just not true, but also where this took place or how this could have possibly happened. And the only person that's going to be nice enough to do that for you is J49er. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because he likes history and he knows it, and he'll walk you through it. And I've sat there.
Go ahead, J49. Break it down for us, brother. I mean, I've tried.
Sister, that's fine, but I'll just make one point that might be useful.
But I'm going to let you know something. If you make the point, I'm going to let J49er respond to you. But J49er, you got to promise me something, brother, because I honestly I had a long day teaching. I can't take too much history. So if you can, knock him out in one big punch, okay, J49er?
Sister, I just want to give some information before I don't want to make any point now. I would let Jay speak for what he has to say. The information that I want to share is, just last week, I had a debate with Dale Glover on my channel and also on Reason Theology. It was relayed on both these channels with Michael Lofton being the moderator. So this is about Daniel 2. So you're welcome to watch this debate on my channel or even on Reason Theology.
I'll give it a look, brother. Go ahead and is that all you wanted to say? Because if not, in terms of that's all. Well, in terms of the land, this land ideology that you have, Jay, I don't know how long you've been listening, but if you can, in like a few sentences, can you give him a strong, 1, 2?
And I just came up, didn't really hear any of that stuff. Interesting about the 10 kings that he's saying. So you guys are doing good. Yeah,
can you
and he knows who I am.
actually, Jay? Oh, he doesn't know. Oh, he knows who you are.
Yeah,
okay,
he knows I am.
Yeah, we were, we didn't even actually touch on that. We were simply just saying that, it's not, there's just not enough there to claim that this is an argument about actual land. It's not about, if this is what they're saying, then it would have to be that God gave Daniel land and it was inherited, right? But it's not, it was revealed, and it's not something that he's inheriting. And it's not about the people who are temporarily governing the land. It's about something that's being established eternally. So it's like, if they don't read it plainly in context, I don't know how to help them. But that's why whenever I have this argument with people, I'm like, follow J49er. He loves having this conversation with people. I hate it. I'm just honest. I hate having this conversation with people.
No, you guys are all good. I just came up here to just say, I actually don't have too much time over here. I just came up to say that that's a very interesting angle on the 10 kings that you're bringing forward. And I just wanted to introduce myself. So he knows who I am. We'll continue this conversation. It's a very, very long conversation. I don't have that much time for it, but you guys are on the right path. As you said, you are also tired. Maybe some other time we can have this conversation.
Love to have a conversation with you about this, because I'm like a little fatigued whenever, somebody, I'm like, I don't know, it just seems like such a, I know I have to learn it, Jay. I know we do. I know I have to learn it. And it's like slowly as I listen to Jay, like during the daytime, I'm learning, but there's only so many stupid arguments that I can keep up with. And no offense to you, brother Prophet. I just find it to be stupid, because it's
absolutely all right.
If you just read it plainly, I feel like if you just read it plainly, it's there. But this is just not my expertise field. I don't know.
Yes, sister, I totally understand, because we come from different paradigms, and to each other, the reasoning may seem stupid until we have a thorough engagement.
That's why I said I need someone else to talk to you about it, because I got to sit here and listen, because I just can't engage with it.
Sister. Not a problem. Yeah.
Daniel, do you believe that?
Just
hold on,
know that,
real quick, guys. Daniel, do you believe that? I'm sorry. Yeah, you're Daniel too. It keeps throwing me off. Do you believe that Daniel chapter 7 is about Islam as well? I'm just curious. We're not going to start talking about it, but do you believe that Daniel?
Yeah,
chapter
that's
7?
why I asked you to watch my debate. What I'm saying is Daniel 2 is the only prophecy that's spoken of Daniel, and the later books that were attested to the book of Daniel came about to be during the Maccabean period. So Daniel 7 comes from the Maccabean period up until Daniel 12. So these books were later on added to Daniel's records. As such, do not really play a role in expanding the footprint of the original prophecy that Daniel sort of interpreted that to King Nebuchadnezzar. So this prophecy that Daniel interpreted to King Nebuchadnezzar is a standalone prophecy that gets fulfilled in the march of history.
I see.
And you're making that assumption because of the Aramaic and Hebrew change? Is that what you're making the assumption on?
In fact, Daniel 7 is still based off Aramaic, but it's based off a different period during the Maccabean revolt, which means that those books came about as a response to the Grecian kingdoms and the kings that were doing activity in the Hebrew land, and the Hebrews did not like it, and they revolted against those officials. So these books have come about as a response to the Grecian incursions of the Hebrews.
Interesting. All right, who else do we have up here? Mr. President, yes. All right, Brother Daniel, well, I appreciate it. Listen, just letting you know, next stream is going to be about probably about Daniel 7. So I'd be interested in your take on that. We'll be live Thursday, Central Standard Time at the same time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I look forward to seeing what you think about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I will try to catch up on Thursday morning, same time, yeah?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Not a problem at all. You have a blessed day. God bless you guys all.
God bless you, man. Later.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, guys, Prophet Daniel, I don't know that there's going to be a lot that we agree on. I know that I remember speaking to him about the Islamic dilemma. His approach is that way pretty much on everything. And I like the guy a lot. I do. I really like him. I think he's a sweet guy. I think he's really nice. His heart's in the right spot. It's in the right place. I don't think he's coming at this from an angle of willing deception. Does that make sense? I think that he really does see this in a way that he's saying it, despite the fact that you like Word said, guys, you're skipping over the plain reading of it. That much is obvious. No matter how many times I told him that, I think he's found ways to interpret things any which way that will justify the Islamic stance on it, right? Which again is very interesting to me, because when you're a Muslim and you have so many Muslims, I guess Prophet Daniel is kind of like the equivalent of a Unitarian to us, right? Where it's like, it kind of doesn't make sense that you say you're a Muslim, but you don't agree with everything Muslims have established. But this is Prophet Daniel, guys. He, like I said, I would rather talk to somebody who we know is incorrect from a historical standpoint and from an ideological standpoint, from a theological standpoint. But he's being respectful. He's coming from a place of love, and I do appreciate that, guys. So it is what it is, man. This is your mind on Islam, regardless, guys.
He's thinking for himself and not just accepting the status quo.
Right? Yeah.
That's how
exactly.
it starts.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. You got to start from somewhere. I don't mind talking to him. Like I said, I just when it comes to, and I'm like a big girl, I can just say, hey, when it comes to made up history points, I'm not your girl. I can't have it. And you know what? I'm like, I know that a lot of people rip, and even like you could see the comments in TikTok. As soon as Jay comes in, a lot of people they just like rip, and I'm like, you guys rip on Jay because guess what? All day, that's what his thing is. Everyone has their own thing.
Yeah,
that's what his thing is. He has the patience to deal with people who believe in made up history and has to walk them through that every single day with maps and charts. And I see him do it day in and day out. That is what his thing is. That's what he was devoted to. Good for him, And so it's like, that's why they rip on him, because he has devoted himself. And I thank God there is somebody, okay, that there is somebody like Jay who was willing to go into the delusion, la la land of Islam of Daniel. Thank God.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank God.
I mean, either way, guys, this is your mind on Islam. Either way, no matter which angle you come at it from, I love Prophet Daniel. My dream, my prayer is that one day he sees the truth. And who is the truth, ladies and gentlemen? Jesus Christ. He is the truth, the way, and the life, and that's it. And I'm praying that in his search for truth, he actually finds that truth, because no matter what, guys, you know what it comes down to. And I think I heard it was either Frank Turek or Billy Graham, one of our all-time great Christian generals, said this, and they said, no matter what, you can explain it in the most perfect way, but the rejection of Jesus Christ isn't always necessarily a head problem, but a heart problem. So no matter what, you can bring as many intellectual angles to these conversations as you want, but no matter what, it's not going to matter if their heart is not willing to accept the Messiah. And what did the Messiah say people were going to do? That they were going to reject him. What did he say to the apostles? The world is going to hate you, but remember that it hated who first? Who did it hate first, ladies and gentlemen?
Jesus.
Yes. Yep. The best argument I heard today was the proxy one. I will admit that one threw me a little bit. That was the first time I heard the proxy argument. That I had never heard that against Daniel. I've heard the land one way too many times. I feel like I heard the proxy one without the word proxy. I think maybe that's just my first time being introduced to the word proxy in the argument. I feel like I was introduced to the concept. And what was the other one? There was another one that was thrown at us. There was 3. Who else came up and said something?
Oh, I think Mr. President wanted to come in. I don't know if he's still here waiting. No, he's not here anymore. I was about to bring him up too. Yeah, I at the end, guys, this is your mind on Islam, and there's no way for you to change it. But I can tell you this. I like, you know what? Here, I'm gonna let you guys listen to something, because this is it. It is on topic, and it's not specifically about Daniel chapter 2. But are you guys familiar with the Christian YouTube channel? His name is Christian Prince. You guys ever heard of it? Yeah. So Christian Prince, I'm sorry, not Christian Prince, Rob Christian was talking about...
I'm part of his Discord family. I know Rob.
So Rob did an amazing video, and Rob always does amazing videos. Rob did an amazing video about the Orthodox Muslim. As you guys can see here, I'm going to share it over here on YouTube. Word, if you want to go to YouTube where you can see all the stuff, you're always welcome. So here it is. Here's a thumbnail with Orthodox duck lips, and Libya. It says, "Libyano, I am a thief." Now you guys know that on my channel, one of the most successful videos I ever did, through the glory of God, was exposing how much of a liar Libyano is, especially when he was when he did like this kind of video upload, a YouTube short about a short clip of a debate that he had with Avery about Jesus being God.
He surpassed my views.
Who did?
You're telling me duck lips? He surpassed our video?
No, our video was like at 15,000 views.
Oh, I thought you said it was. I thought you said it was a very successful video.
Oh no, it was by contrast, because usually they get a couple thousand, but like this one passed 10,000, yours passed 10,000, the one with Avery passed 10,000.
Okay.
But so I just want you guys to see, and the reason I'm bringing this up, guys, is because this doesn't have anything to do with Daniel chapter 2. And please like the stream if you guys are here. Please hit the thumbs up. Please, guys. The views were way better than I thought they were going to be today, because we're not doing vertical streams anymore. I'm going to talk about that again at the end as to what's going on with that. But yeah, so I just want you guys to see. I'm not even going. Word, I heavily suggest you go over to YouTube so that you could see this. This is like an 8 or just under 9-minute video, and I want you guys to see how incredibly deceptive these guys are. And it's important because these guys have tons of followers, and their followers will listen to anything they say and will never look up anything. They will never look up anything that these guys say. Rob Christian destroys this liar. He's a dog and a liar. And I want you guys to see just one of the many ways that this guy's so deceptive and willingly leading people astray. They can no longer saying that they're doing it because they think Allah is a true God. This is willing deception. And I want you guys to check this out.
Will end Libyano's Dawah career today, for once and for all. Libyano uploaded a video wherein he mentions a so-called prophecy from the Prophet of Islam in Sunan Abi Dawood 4306. But what he did not tell the audience is that this is a fabricated hadith. and I'm going to prove it in this video. But he's also a thief because he stole other people's work, and because he plagiarized someone's material, it backfired and ended his dawah career. Don't go anywhere, just hold tight because I will explain everything in detail. Here are some important key points to finish off this low-tier Muslim apologist. For a prophet to be even considered a true prophet, such a prophet must deliver a fulfilled prophecy. So if we can prove that this false prophecy falls short, then Muhammad is a false prophet, and the Orthodox Muslim, aka Libiano here, and his false prophet are baked and done. I will end this guy's dawah career for once and for all.
We can all agree that the best way to establish the prophethood of a claimant, it is through prophecies that he makes. If they are detailed, they're not vague, and they are explicitly identified to be uttered before the event is allegedly taken place, we could confirm that this claimant is a true prophet. What if I told you there is a prophecy attributed to the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, historically attested, corroborated, that not a single skeptic on the face of the planet can object to? In Sunan Abi Dawud, there is a prophecy that is so detailed on so many different layers. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, and I'm paraphrasing of course, he says, in the end times the Muslims will descend to a low-lying ground they will call Al-Basra. It will be beside a river called the Tigris River, above which will be a bridge. And descendants of Keturah with broad faces and small eyes will come, they will descend, and they will attack the Muslims. Now, he also mentions in this hadith that the city will be a capital city of the Muslims and its inhabitants will be numerous. And these Asian people, he describes them as broad faces and small eyes, they will come and they will attack this city. The inhabitants will split into three.
Mind you, we're going to ignore the racism behind the claim he just made, all right? Because he literally just said that in this hadith that this supposed individual talks about broad faces and small eyes, and says, this is Libiano's words, ladies and gentlemen, not mine, that this has to be the Asians. Isn't that what you guys just heard? This has to be the Asians because it talks about people with broad faces and small eyes. Incredible. I'm going to rewind that.
These Asian people, he describes them as broad faces and small eyes. They will come and they will attack this city. The inhabitants will split into three groups, and these three groups all perish except for some who disbelieve, as the word there is kafaru, which means perish or disbelieve. The point is the Muslims will lose, and it will be a very sad time for the Muslims. Now, this is recorded in Sunan Abi Dawud, in Ibn Hibban, in Musnad Imam Ahmad, and in Kitab al-Fitan, and in several other compilations.
Notice, the Orthodox Muslim isn't going to the Quran to give his gullible Muslim audience a fulfilled prophecy because he simply knows that there isn't any fulfilled prophecies in the Quran. So he's forced to go to a fabricated hadith instead, which is very awkward and embarrassing. Now you might ask, why are there no prophecies in the Quran? Because Muhammad is nothing but a warner. He came to warn only. He didn't come to give fulfilled prophecies in any way, shape, or form. The Quran in chapter 7, ayah 188 doubles it down. The ayah clearly refutes any claim that Muhammad had knowledge of the future. In this verse, Muhammad is commanded to say, I have no power to benefit myself or harm myself. Only what Allah wills happens to me. And he's nothing but a warner, and that's it. No fulfilled prophecies in the Quran, no miracles, no nothing. He's nothing but a warner. Now, why is this a fabricated hadith? First of all, the earliest versions of these reports are not prophetic. Now, why is that? Simply because Muhammad never said these words. The earliest versions of this hadith are not attributed to Muhammad himself, but rather to a companion by the name of Abdullah bin Amr ibn al-As. He is a companion of Muhammad, known for his interest in biblical and early traditions. This alone weakens the claim that it's a divine prophecy, or let alone from the words of Muhammad.
It's insane. You don't even need to appeal to any isnad. You don't need to look at the narrators, because this prophecy exists in all its mutun and it's attested to by several witnesses. But we're going to go one step further. Let's use the Orientalist methodology, the isnad kum matan analysis, to actually go through these chains and these mutun and take a look and see how far this prophecy goes back. We have 5 witnesses that transmit this report to 3 compilers. Musnad Imam Ahmad has 3 that narrate this to him. Sunan Abi Dawood has 1, and Ibn Hibban has 1. We won't even deal with the one in Kitab al-Fitan, as these are enough. Now, as you can see in the diagram on the screen, no single compiler could have possibly made this up, as is corroborated by the 2 other compilers and vice versa. And if we move on to the next set of transmitters, no single transmitter could have made this up, as he's corroborated by 4 other transmitters, and so on and so forth. Now, when analyzing all these transmitters, we find the common link. The common link is Sa'id ibn Juhman. Sa'id ibn Juhman is not corroborated by anybody else beyond him, meaning the chain starts to branch out with him. That's what we call the common link.
I want you guys, this is the best part of the video. This is where Rob absolutely snaps. Check this out.
Guess what? Here comes the boom. I found out that Libiano here even stole the diagram which he used in his video from a website, a source that refutes his entire false prophecy, saying that the isnad, the chain for this hadith, is pure fabrication. The Orthodox Muslim not only stole the diagram and removed the underneath information to hide the evidence from his audience where he stole it from, but he's also deceiving his gullible Muslim audience, not telling them where he's getting it from, but the very source or website which he stole from refutes him and proves that that hadith and chain is fabricated, proving that this hadith is attributed to Muhammad by this fabricator, Sa'id bin Juhman, who took earlier hadiths, merging them in a new, much later abomination of a hadith. To lend credibility to his version, Sa'id bin Juhman fabricated an isnad, a chain of transmission, tracing the story back to the Prophet, giving it the appearance of divine authority. Many famous scholars even said that this Sa'id bin Juhman is often fishy and not that reliable at all. And even Imam Bukhari said that his narration contains strange things. I'll include the website in the description box, which this low-tier Muslim apologist stole the diagram from, deceiving his gullible audience in the process. Libiano, I just ended your Dawah career, boy. You thief. Like ya kadhab. Stop deceiving your gullible Muslim audience.
So this is so here's what's crazy, guys. I'm gonna leave this up on the screen because Rob obviously did a lot of due diligence. If you're not subscribed to Rob on YouTube, please go subscribe to him. Rob Christian is very, very good at what he does.
I love his dialect. I don't know where Rob's from. He said Gadab. Is he Egyptian?
I don't know. I've never spoken to him personally. I haven't had the privilege. But yeah, this is the problem, guys. If you go earlier to Libiano's video, the entire diagram that's here was there. This is what he decided to show people with the cool little colors. What he didn't do was he didn't show under every single cell of information the Arabic and the English, which pretty much says this entire chart proves that what this guy is saying is 100% bull doohickey. This is Dawah, guys. The reason I'm showing this to you guys is because this is Dawah. Dawah is deception. Dawah to me is nothing but a synonym for deception. And all of you mindless, brain-dead fools who are out there constantly glazing Libiano, despite the fact that it's, first of all, pause, because I don't know why you guys are so in love with this dude. It's weird. But
he's so weird.
He's a weirdo. He acts like he's tough. He's arrogant. His arrogance is based in pseudo-intellectualism. And on top of that, if you really felt like this is something that people could look at and say, yes, I agree with you, then why are you lying? Why are you deleting all the text out of this diagram? That's crazy.
If he hears me,
I don't care if he hears me. I find him to be like very, and it's not. I'm not like attacking his like demeanor, but
I am.
but okay. Well, I am, but not in the way that I think people think I'm going to. I find that a man who constantly just can't stand by textual claims and arguments and constantly has to defend himself by talking over people, I immediately just find you to be more feminine than the average male.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then on top of that, because you ask for so much attention by being so hypocritically negative and contradictions have gone across the board at this point with every person that you've spoken to. I just think that you are very feminine to want so much negative attention all the time.
And not only that, guys, but he's been caught lying so many times. And you know what's even more pathetic? At least with Libiano, I understand why, because he wants that attention. So I get it. I understand that. What I don't get are the people who sit there in his Discord servers and his YouTube channels acting like this guy is so intelligent, despite the fact that there is so much media out there existing showing how much of a liar and pseudo intellectual fool he is. The man has called a person a rock. The man said that Jesus was Yahweh in a lesser sense. Okay. The man literally just got caught again using charts and removing the text. You know why? Ladies and gentlemen, not because he actually thought that, you know what, this isn't relevant. He did it because he knows that his followers are brain dead fools who are going to sit there and glaze him and never check behind anything that he says. Never. They never do, because if they did, more than half of them probably wouldn't even be Muslim anymore. They sit there and they listen to him. But you know what happened when somebody told him to talk to me? You know what he did? Brother Maverick is a nothing. If he wants to talk to me, he can call my show. Despite the fact that he called my show and I never actually brought him up on stage, but he's a nothing. He's a nobody. Stop telling me to talk to him. I have the clip. You guys want to hear it? I will show it to you again. Brother Maverick is a nothing. Stop telling me to talk to him. That's exactly what he said.
It's funny how like he doesn't realize how that statement is a contradiction. Stop telling me to talk to him. He's a nothing. You are repeatedly being asked to speak to a Christian so if that Christian is being repeatedly requested to have a conversation with you by other people, that would infer that he is a something.
He's too stupid to know that, though. And not only is he too stupid to know that, but he doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something right now. If Libiano calls my show, or we were to have some sort of debate, at this point, I'll be honest with you, I lost interest a long time ago, just because as time goes on, I see how intellectually deficient he is, right? I'd honestly rather talk to people like Prophet Daniel or somebody else, because at least they're trying to be intellectual. They're trying to have a good faith conversation. Libiano sits there and telling people that God said the N-word. This is how stupid this guy is. And then when he gets caught on that stuff, he says, oh, that was just a troll. Oh, I see. So anytime you get caught and your stupidity is illustrated, it's just a troll. Oh, I understand. I get it. But what it comes down to is one big and glaring thing. And this is a promise and a guarantee. And I hope that he hears this. Libiano knows if he talks to me, he's not going to dominate me. I'm going to humiliate him and I'm going to emasculate him. And that's what he doesn't want. Libiano needs to be to where he's in control, where he can boot you, where he can talk over you, where he can mute you. That is what he wants. And he knows with me, he ain't going to get that. He's not going to get it. Just like Dean Responds. I have screenshots of Dean Responds coming in my streams when I go live on TikTok and never says a word, never requests up, because they're cowards. They know that those fat mouths that they run to other people, it ain't going to work with me, because I'm going to check you and I'm going to humiliate you.
Can I bring your attention to something?
Yeah.
And this is so sad, but I just want to bring the attention to this really quick. And to any ex-Muslims in here, I just wanted to let you know that I get that what Brother Maverick is saying is like sitting with you so well, to the point where we're all in our minds, we all want to scream something to Brother Maverick. So Brother Maverick, on behalf of the ex-Muslims in the chats and me, myself, I'm going to tell you, what you're saying is the reason that we have very little hope, but we still hold on to hope because of God, but that we have very little hope that we are ever going to have communication with our family without strife and without being disowned. Because the way that these debaters come up, that is how they treat us, their own children, their own kin.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen it. I unfortunately have encountered Islamic culture from various different nations, and it is very, you know what's crazy about Islam, guys? And this is not a shot at Islam or people in general, or am I bashing anyone? But when I see the treatment of women and children, but women especially, among Islamic culture, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're from Nigeria, from Libya, from Iran, Iraq. It doesn't matter. It's always the same. Women are treated as little more than property. You look at a Muslim woman, and it's almost like you feel sorry for them. Like, you can see that it's just like, I'm just kind of here, existing until I don't anymore. And God forbid that you're a person who leaves Islam, because oh my gosh, you before in Islam, you were looked at as basically just someone to be seen and not heard. After Islam, you might as well, you're less worth than an animal to them. And to me, that's crazy, because Christians, there's plenty of Christians every single year that say, I'm no longer Christian. Yeah. You don't see Christians saying, I don't want you in my house. I don't want you you get out of my face. You're dead to me, blah, blah, blah. No, it is what it is.
And successfully cut you off from all of your aunts and uncles and everyone else and cousins. Successfully. It's one thing to say to do it, and then it's another to successfully do it, because everybody is accurately brainwashed all the same way. Right. It's very cultish. And it's very interesting. It's like everyone acts as if they're under one household, even though they all are under different households, you know? Yeah. But one day, I just want to put this out there. One day I would love for you and I, we'll plan this, but I have something that was written a few years ago, and this was like before I ran away. And this girl from my country, from Palestine, she wrote something about the tribes that live in Palestine. So every tribe of Palestine, okay? She wrote this before, and I think I was like 14 or 15 at the time. I have to check the date on the article. But I remember it being a really big deal because it was very truthful about each of the tribes. And she talked about walking down the streets of Palestine, and how when she would walk down, just as I just wanted to, like, it's a very personal thing that happened to all of us girls. Right. And you would get tapped on the shoulder. Somebody would think you're pretty. And in Palestine, believe it or not, they don't have Sharia law, right? So you can actually not wear a hijab, and you would be stopped or something, right? Someone would compliment you. The first question they would ask you, you are the daughter of who? Inti bint min? Is like kind of, they're asking you, Inti min, like the aile is the tribe. So min that's something that they'll ask you, right? Because they want to know, what tribe are you from? What family do you come from? So that they can ask about you to figure out if you come from a family worthy of taking.
Wow.
And she writes about this, and she talks about how it's disgusting. But anyways, she talks about how it is to basically, you come from, like, communicate with people in each tribe in Palestine. So how they all follow the same culture, but how yet they all think of each other just a little bit differently than one another. And it's very interesting. I would love to just like one day read it with you, and maybe we could talk about it and incorporate it in one of your streams. But it caused a lot of strife, to the point where like all the tribes were really going for this girl, poor thing. But it was the most honest thing ever written, and I have access to it. So I think we should definitely read it. It's interesting. She wrote it in English and everything, so it's great.
Excellent. Dub, you have been extraordinarily patient, man. I'm really sorry. I've been trying to get to you, but one conversation led into another. How you doing? Are you still there, brother?
No problem. We like to wait for those who are our brothers in Christ. I wanted to say to all of you that we are out there in Nigeria. We are about to get on the front lines. We've been looking around for lots of hadiths, strong hadiths, hopefully, and I think we found one. Here it is, folks. We got a hadith right there for you. There's a hadith for you.
I'm missing it. What's on the screen?
For all of you out there, we found one. I don't know how we did, but we did. Hey, God bless all of you, man. You guys make this really great. I'm sorry, I had to break it up with some comedy.
Word didn't see, she's on the other side. Word, he turned on his webcam and he showed the hadith that he found And on the cover it says strong hadith, and it's actually written on a roll of toilet paper.
Stop. Diabolical. Diabolical.
But that goes to what Word was saying the other day. She was like, "It's time to poop," so it actually lines up. You can actually give that to her. You can give that to her fiance when it's time to poop.
I did want to talk to you after the stream. I don't know, when everyone leaves the chat or whatever, we'll clear up a little bit of bookkeeping. Sure. If you know what I mean. I don't know if you saw the back chat, but yeah. I want to give it. We'll talk real quick, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure. We can talk about that. Absolutely.
We got a Muslim in the chat.
A Muslim in the chat. Where? Oh,
I mean, in the request.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We can do one more before we get off. Cal Ripken.
Maybe he wants to see that strong hadith. Everybody does want to see that strong hadith.
Cal, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing good. How about yourself? So I see the topic, Daniel 2 is not talking about Islam. So I am Muslim.
Okay.
I don't necessarily argue that it is Islam.
Okay.
But I am curious, how do you believe it's Christianity?
Well, so here, let me bring up. I will tell you directly from my debate brief. Is that okay?
Wait, hold up. Are you wait, huh? How do we know that Daniel from the Bible is Christian? Wait, what are you asking?
Yeah. Because the kingdom. How do you know the fifth kingdom is Christianity?
Okay. I want you to, before Brother Maverick gets into this, because I don't want you to straw man. Please specify your question, because that was so vague. Like, try one more time, brother. I'm not sure. We understood you, but please.
You believe the Son of Man is Jesus, and you believe the kingdom is the Messianic kingdom, right? Like, how do you know that this is fulfilled with Christianity?
Right. It's a solid question for sure.
Cool.
Now,
I just wanted to specify.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we can actually. Yeah. So when we go to Daniel 2:44, there was actually a Muslim who called in earlier who didn't want to talk about this. And the reason I knew he didn't want to talk about it was because that's how we know it's talking about Christianity. If we look at verse 44 of chapter 2, it says, in those days, and I'm actually going to be pretty much referencing my debate brief, just so you know, okay? It says, in those days, in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed. Those kings refers to the divided phase of the fourth kingdom, which was Rome, which we know from what we were talking about earlier. Jesus was born, crucified, and resurrected during that exact period. Okay, so that's obviously not coincidental. That's fulfillment. There's no other kingdom that claims to have begun while Rome was still standing and continues to this day, except for the kingdom of God, which was inaugurated through Christ, right? We also know that it's not because it's not a man-made kingdom. So if we look at the stone that destroys, the statue is, quote, cut out without hands, end quote. So if we look at the biblical symbolism of it, without hands means something done by God and not human power. And we can actually refer back to the book of Job, chapter 34, verse 20, and Mark chapter 14, verse 58 for that. So if we look at Islam, Persia, and Greece, they were all built through human conquest. But Christianity,
not about Islam. I don't care about Islam for now. I want to know why you believe it's Christianity.
Well, number one, because it's in the Bible, and number two, I'm explaining to you, right? So I'm just using it because, like I said, it's in my debate brief. But they were all built through human conquest, right? Now, if we're looking at Christianity, it didn't begin like that. It didn't begin with armies. It didn't begin with governments. It was just Jesus Christ and his followers. And it matches the imagery perfectly in the book of Daniel, as opposed to anyone trying to crowbar anything else into it, including Islam. So this goes on and on and on.
Okay, yeah, I'll contend with this. So the kingdom, so you believe that the kingdom that Jesus came with when he came in his first coming, you believe that this fulfills, because you said it was apparently before the division or something. Can you repeat the point about the division?
Sure. So I'm not saying that I'm saying that it started with Jesus' first coming. It'll be fulfilled with his second coming.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I see. So you're saying, because remember, the kingdom has to be established, right? So you're saying it's established before the division of the Roman Empire?
No. When did I say that?
Yeah. So you're saying that when Christ came, what does this fulfill when Christ comes?
Well, so the thing about it is that prophecy doesn't require the kingdom to be established before the Roman Empire divides. It just says that it will be set up during the days of those kings. which basically means in the era of that fourth empire. And that covers the entire lifespan of Rome, including its united and divided phases. That's why I was confused by your question.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to ignore verses 42 to 40. That's fine. So when you read, so you think that the kingdom that Jesus came with and preached about in his time on earth, this kingdom is the same kingdom from Daniel 2, correct?
The one that has been established by Jesus, yes.
Okay. So in Daniel 2:44, there's another criterion given, and the criterion, I believe, it says this kingdom will not be left to another people. So do you agree that this kingdom will not be left to another people? Other than
is that what it says?
That is what it says.
Okay.
Okay. But then in Matthew chapter 21, verse 43, remember, you said that the kingdom that Jesus is preaching is the kingdom from Daniel 2. Jesus says that the kingdom will be taken from you and given to another nation that will bear fruits. And I'm not saying it's Islam. I'm saying, and according to Paul, Romans 11, these are the Gentiles. So how can I fulfill it if the kingdom in Daniel 2:44 is said to not be given to other people?
Yeah, I know. I already know what you're getting at because somebody tried to ask that the other day. So when Jesus says in Matthew 21:43 that the kingdom of God will be taken from you and given to a nation producing its fruits, he's not saying that the kingdom in Daniel 2 itself will be transferred to a different people group in a political sense. He's saying that the privilege of representing God's kingdom, the spiritual stewardship, is being taken away from the corrupt religious leaders of Israel and given to a people who will actually live by faith and obedience, right? So going back to Daniel 2:44, it says that God's kingdom will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. That means it won't collapse or be replaced like Babylon was, or Persia or Greece or whatever, right? It's eternal. The kingdom that Daniel 2 is talking about is eternal, and it's ruled directly by God through Christ. So the taken from you statement is in Matthew is not contradicting that. It's explaining that unbelieving Israel as a nation forfeited its role, while believing Jews and Gentiles together became the true spiritual nation of God. And you can actually go to 1 Peter 2:9 for that. So the kingdom itself from Daniel 2 isn't being passed to a new empire or religion. It's being expanded to everyone who believes in Jesus Christ as God. That's what it's talking about. And he's off the app. I don't think he expected me to answer that, ladies and gentlemen. He's gone. Ward, do you have anything to say? Anybody there?
Yeah, I'm here. No, that was solid. I had to go on YouTube to like backtrack a little bit of what you said because I had a little bit of connection that dropped. Oh, okay. I don't know if he, but I mean, like I stayed connected. I don't know why he ran.
Why do you think? Hey, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If you read your Bible, oh my gosh, Dub, you are wild. Dub.
I had to show the evidence.
Bring it up.
Evidence.
Put it up.
We've already gone into Nigeria. We've already done it. We found the evidence.
Put it up on screen again.
I wanted to tell all of you.
Put it up on screen again.
Oh, hold on. He wants to see the evidence.
You gotta go to YouTube to check it out.
No problem. No problem. We found the evidence, folks. We went over into Nigeria. We've already solved the problem. We were trying to find a strong hadith. And there it is, folks. There it is. You got your strong hadith.
Let me know when you see it. Don't. Stupid. I don't know why he left, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that he was expecting me to actually answer the question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I figured I'd hear a laugh.
I just saw it on the toilet.
I figured. Yeah, he left. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even I don't even know if I got enough of a recording out of that one because at this point we're just kind of, yeah, it is what it is. I listen, guys, if you thought that you were bringing up the book of Matthew and you thought that it was going to be a contradiction to the book of Daniel, especially when you're looking at Matthew 21:43, a couple of things. Number one, read it in context. Number two, don't ask questions to someone who's actually read their Bible thinking that they're not going to be able to use apologetics to actually explain this. Because if you actually read Matthew and Daniel side by side, you would see that what Daniel and the prophecy is talking about and the kingdom that is going to be established is not saying the same thing that was being said by Jesus in Matthew 21:43.
Am I crazy or did he concede?
He did.
To it not talking about Islam.
He did. He said from the beginning, I don't even believe it's about Islam.
Okay. I thought he said that. And so that's why when he initially asked you the question, I didn't understand the question. That's why I said, huh?
But
That's why I said,
think about it. He asked from the beginning, he said, well, why do you think it's about Christianity? You mean despite the fact that it's in the Bible?
But here's the thing. If you don't believe it's about Islam, but you're asking us why we think it's about Christianity, where is the standard of which you believe it's about anything?
Correct.
That's what I want to know. Like that, I don't. That's why I said, huh?
Yeah.
Like you gave the premise to us that you don't believe that it's about Islam, but you want us to describe why we believe it's about Christianity, even though it's in a Christian book. What?
Yeah. Kevin James on TT says there was literally nothing he could do or say, so he ran. You know what, Kevin? Here's the thing, man. For the flesh, does it feel good to make a deceiver run away? Yes, but we have to do well to remind ourselves that this isn't necessarily about winning arguments. This is about spreading the truth of Jesus Christ. This is about living in a world where you're able to show the truth of Scripture and make sure that we are not allowing people to conflate it with their nonsense, that we're not allowing them to skip over the plain reading of things, right? Where we're not allowing them to just do whatever they want with our Scripture. It is our job to show the world what Scripture truly says, right? And yes, the Bible does talk about this. The Bible does talk about exposing lies, right? When people say, okay, well, are you spreading the gospel? Yes, because in the gospel, it makes it clear that we are to expose the deceits in this world.
This is an interesting deceit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like sitting here laughing to myself. I'm like, he really came up here, Brother Maverick. Like, I'm gonna be original. I'm gonna claim that I already don't think it's about Islam, and I want them to tell me why they think it's about Christianity.
Well, that's what the Muslim apologetic tried to do. That's what he tried to do.
I don't know how big of a delay I have, but that's what's so heartbreaking about all of this, because you're bringing up the scriptures from both sides, their scriptures versus ours, and you're just trying to be logical about it. And it's so heartbreaking because they won't listen. So then it pushes somebody like me to become a comedian and put some stupid stuff on there, which I know is kind of not fair, but it's all lighthearted jokes. But they're not listening to you. I mean,
nobody even
come
joked.
on, man.
Nobody even joked.
Yeah.
Nobody even joked about it now, and I'm laughing because I'm like, wait, I'm confused. Did you really come up here and put your tap dancing shoes on us and go, hey, look at me. Don't look at Islam because I'm not going to talk about Islam. Tell me why you think it's about Christianity, even though it's in a Christian book. Ba-da-da-da. Your turn.
Yeah.
Huh?
But then I think that he was trying to lead it to that point of Matthew 21:43, and he really didn't expect me to have an answer. This is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. They go from Christian stream to Christian stream until they find somebody who either answers it in a way that they can clip or isn't really sure of an answer or has to get an answer, and there we go, we have our recording. Now we can make Christians look silly again. Allah Akbar. We can go ahead and continue our diarrhea dawah because we know that nobody's going to check behind what we're saying.
They're sitting there and they're laughing and they think that it's all about clips. Well, go ahead and clip my toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? That was some magnificent toilet paper. I mean, come on, man. This is ridiculous. You're going logically at the argument, and then if they want to make it silly, I can do that. I can jump into that part of it, you know?
I mean, the entire thing is silly, guys. You're talking about a religious system that it looks at a book that is completely incoherent, that literally sits there and calls itself a detailed explanation of all things. And then you have over 600,000 additional texts that come out no earlier than 2 full centuries after Muhammad's death and the Quran's compilation, to say nothing of the horrible way that the Quran was actually compiled. And they look at these things, and you have people who will come on to my channel and I'll say, listen, I don't care. Your book says it's a detailed explanation of all things. Let's use your book. Well, we don't understand this verse to mean that actually what it says. What? Your name has the word apologetic in it, and you're telling me that the words that are on that page don't mean what they say? Only in Islam do verses not mean exactly what the words say? Only in Islam. Only in Islam. It's insane to me. It is crazy to me, but that's it, guys. At the end of the day, this was a great stream. I actually was very nervous. I did want to get into something with you guys real quick. So here is, okay, this is the debate brief. I will share the screen. Oh no, hang on. I got to bring it up again, guys. But I got to get to my, here. I just want to give me, here we are, guys.
Oh,
so,
hey, brother Maverick.
Yeah.
Sorry, before you share that to close out, can I back us up for 1 second?
Yes.
I wanted to say something. You were really passionate about the, I don't know what the correct terminology is. It pro-life?
Yeah.
Stance? Okay, sorry. I'm really bad with the terms. You were really passionate about that earlier, and I really love your passion. There's nothing wrong with it. Is it okay if I say something about that really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I know that like somebody tried to claim that you were being unempathetic. And I just wanted to let you know that I sometimes feel a little nudge from God to share this with some people in a way that I can offer it to say this. I went through a season in my life where doctors were not able to help that much. It really relied on me being really regimented with the way that my life used to not be when I was very healthy. This wasn't a forever thing, right? But it was a few years of my life. And my life was very, very different and very, very hard. And I thank God every day that I'm doing much, much better, right? I don't want to give too much detail, but let's just say that, right? And because of the days in and days out that happened to me throughout that, a lot of that illness that was brought upon me really was probably stress induced from, my disownment and stuff. So when you have like an illness that is kind of like accompanied by a lot of stress, you feel a sense of really like a strange disownment and loneliness. And so when you get sick and there's no one there to support you through that, right? Like family, you start to rely really, really on God, because that's really all you have. I got a lot better. And as I got a lot better, my relationship with God, I realized was I kind of grew with God as my health got better. And the only person I was able to rely on was God. When you were speaking earlier, you were speaking with such honesty about defending what I felt like was vulnerability. And I feel like that speaks lengths to what God represents himself to be, which is a defender of vulnerability.
Right.
When I was disowned and by my entire family and at a pretty young age too, because I made the decision really, really young. I had a big mouth and I couldn't lie and stay in my family and live two lives because I refused. But, because I did that so young, it caused a lot of strife on me, really hard on myself. And my health took a turn for the worse. When you don't have family to support you through that and you end up relying on God, God shows you what he can do to restore things that have been completely ravaged on by not just human beings, but a person's spirit, right? Even like the renewing of that is so revolutionary. And that's why people who believe that abortions are appropriate are people that don't understand that length of Jesus's love. And Jesus's restoration, because that's also what our God is. And so I used to be somebody who didn't actually feel like it was that big of a deal before I was a Christian. Even as a Muslim, I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. But then when I was a Christian and after I kind of got ill and God walked me through getting better, I realized that there was really nothing that God couldn't do. So when we start to talk about, how that guy was trying to make it seem like you weren't empathetic. What about the mom? What about the mom? What about the mom? Okay. What about the vulnerability of that child, right? Because the vulnerability of that child right in that moment is the same vulnerability that me as a grown adult was in, not having any support around me. And the only person who was able to advocate for me is God. So as an adult, I recognize that God took care of me in my vulnerability. So now I have a duty to represent God and protect the vulnerability of someone else, a little thing that can't represent itself. And so I feel so wholeheartedly now with the same stance that you feel it on. But I think that I came to that conclusion differently, maybe because I don't have children of my own yet. But I think that God still gave me that perspective just differently than you
How
did.
beautiful.
So,
How
thank you.
beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Now, from my standpoint tonight, I would like to kind of close because it sounds like you are kind of closing.
Yeah, try to.
Go with a little Psalm 2, Psalm 2:4. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Then he will bring them to them in his anger and terrifying them in his fury, saying, but as for me, I have installed my king upon Zion, upon my holy mountain. So, you know what? It's okay to laugh about these things. All right. My bringing a joke towards this discussion, I hope nobody takes it the wrong way, but it's very, very simple. Even God laughs at times and says, you guys got it so wrong, but you want to pretend like you got it right, you know? And so here, I'll end it this way by saying thank you very much, Maverick, for having me on. I do appreciate it. Every time I come on here, this is excellent. Let's go one more time. Let's go one more time. There it is. There's the strong Hadith. There it is, folks. You've seen it live.
Amen. Guys, if you have not already, thank you. First of all, huge thank you to everybody who joined. Word on Box, Dub, Chris Oakley, Grafted Apologetics, A Young Christian's Thoughts. Thank you guys all from the bottom of my heart. Blemmy, I want to say, I always, Dub, let me go back all the way back. Delmy Tree Cutter, thank you so much for joining, man. Everybody who joined on TikTok, thank you guys. God Logic, thank you again for joining. God Logic always, I think that he has certain people that he sees when they go live and he ambushes them, which is nothing short of hilarious to me because they always get so they always get so nervous. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart.
That's the right thing to do. I think it's right for him to demolish anyone who's consistently bombarding Christians with repetitive, stupid arguments.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah, especially since you know that no matter what, they're going to go into these live streams and they're going to ask stupid questions. They're not going to answer any questions. And if they do, they're not going to actually answer them. They're just going to open their mouth and say words, hoping that it qualifies as an answer. Anyways, guys, having said that, I was somewhat nervous to go live today because I found out, even though this was not at all intentional, but I found out that because I was running a horizontal and a vertical stream simultaneously, there was a time several months ago where YouTube and their algorithm would look at that and that they would look at those streams as supplementary. Right. And it would actually help boost your analytics. When I first started doing it, my streams were getting tens of thousands of views due to the fact that I was doing it vertically and horizontally. And whoever wanted to watch the stream in whatever format, they were able to do that because that's just, you know, what I wanted to do for my audience. However, at some point several months ago, and I can kind of pinpoint when it started, I saw that my analytics started tanking a lot when it came to live streams, and I didn't think anything of it because I know how temperamental the algorithm on YouTube can be. So I just was like, I'll write it out. It is what it is. Eventually numbers go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. That's just social media, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the problem. After lots of research, I found out that streaming simultaneously, vertical and horizontal, was hurting my channel so bad that YouTube stopped recommending my live streams to people. So the core audience that I have here, you guys are pretty much here all the time. What I was doing was I was splitting my audience, and YouTube was only seeing 2 simultaneous live streams. The problem with that is that on YouTube Shorts Live, the attention span for live streams is much shorter, less than 60 seconds on average. So that was essentially telling YouTube, whatever this guy is streaming about, it's not worth it for people to stay on longer than 60 seconds. So it was hurting me big time. So when you Google it, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why I had this up, it says, yes, streaming vertically and horizontally at the same time can hurt your discoverability because YouTube's algorithm may not know how to categorize or promote the dual format. potentially splitting your audience and weakening engagement signals. While it can increase discoverability for the vertical stream, it may cause the horizontal stream to be less visible. It's often better to focus on one format to do it well, quote unquote, and avoid potential issues like algorithm confusion and a mismatch in viewer experience. When you come down here, it says basically the main points are algorithm confusion. They are not going to treat the dual stream correctly, possibly sending the vertical stream to the shorts feed and the horizontal stream to the regular video feed, which can split your audience and confuse the algorithm. I know for a fact that was happening because a lot of times I would look up and view the numbers, because on OBS Studio you see how many people are viewing, and literally the numbers would be hovering around the same for both streams, 30 and 30 or 50 and 50, 60 and 60. YouTube had no idea where to send people for my live stream, even though they wanted to. The problem was the vertical live was hurting me because people wouldn't stay that long. So it made it look like they shouldn't send anybody over here anymore. It
Bunch
also
of TikTok brains.
Yeah. So weaken engagement signals. If the algorithm sees inconsistent signals or a viewer has a poor experience due to the format mismatch, it can reduce overall engagement metrics like watch time and click-through rates. That's definitely what's happening to me. Ad revenue, I don't give a crap about. Viewer experience mismatch. Viewers expecting a certain format might quickly leave if they get another one, which negatively impacts your channel's performance. Thumbnail and title issues. It can be difficult to create a single thumbnail and title that clearly communicate the value of the dual stream, which could lead to lower click-through rates. So yeah. Hey, right here, guys, on Google, the first thing it says is focus on one format, test both formats, film with flexibility. I am just not going to do it anymore. I would rather take the immediate short-term hit, guys, and over the next several months and God willing years, get our stream to where, you know, my goal is to go live the way that Dr. Wood and JNDOC and everybody, like JNDOC, they get 600, 800, 900 people watching them on a regular basis, and that they're on their newer channel. They had to actually start a new channel. They're like almost at 20,000 subs, and they get like 800 concurrent viewers when they're live, which is amazing.
What happened to their channel?
Something happened with their first channel where I don't know what happened, where I think people were spam reporting them, or something happened where their channel got taken down, so they had to start a new one, and it had to do with Muslims. Basically, it was an attack campaign on their channel, to the point where they had to their channel actually got removed from YouTube.
It's funny how you think that's going to do anything,
right? Yeah. Even if they affect it, it's going to be short term. You know what I mean? So you know, right? You know what I find hilarious about this, guys, is that when I search this, it says streaming vertically and horizontally at the same time can hurt your discoverability. And then it immediately shows you how to stream horizontally and vertically, which is crazy to me. Like, you're saying you shouldn't do it, but here's how to do it if you want to. Like, really? Yeah, this is so I apologize, guys, because I obviously, you know, it's not something that I did on purpose. But, you know, you live and you learn. And, you know, I can only move forward and pray that this doesn't hurt me permanently, and, you know, just move on from there. Does anybody else want to say anything else? Yeah, actually, this was the first result that I got, guys, right here. I don't know why it gave me a slightly different answer. I mean, it's the same answer. It's the same answer, because this one says, yes, streaming vertically and horizontally at the same time can hurt your discoverability. Right here, it says the same thing because YouTube's algorithm, and then it's very much more straightforward, and it gives it, yeah, okay, so it's the same thing. All right. But yeah, guys, so this is why we are streaming the way that we are. I feel like it's better for everybody to just be on one stream anyway, instead of having to decide which one they want to go to. It makes it easier on my moderators. It makes it easier on everybody. And the only thing I can ask of you guys is if you guys could please just make sure you hit that thumbs up every single time you guys are here. It really does help a lot. Like, it really does tell YouTube this stream is worth recommending to other people, to other Christians, to other, you know, whatever. And, you know, little by little, we'll get those numbers up. Yes, I do understand the implications of a channel that's over 100,000 subs and getting, you know, only, you know, double digit viewership. That's fine. But I will be honest with you guys. I'm eternally grateful to God because I got higher numbers today, even though it being double digit, than way more than I thought I was going to. So I'm eternally grateful to God for that, you know, eternally grateful to God, and only, and all glory is for him. So, you know what, guys, it's been a great one. Yes. I know, baby. I'm almost done. So as always, guys, be safe, be good, be blessed. I will see you when I see you. And remember that Jesus is King and the only way to heaven, guys. Have a good one. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, only in God's name will we be here together. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday. It should be a good one. I plan on talking about Daniel 7 and Islam, and it not about being in Islam, or we can do a little Islamic dilemma. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where God guides my heart by the time we're there, guys. But as always, man, thank you guys so much, man. Thank you so much. Compacted into one stream. Yeah, that's what this is. We're only doing the one stream. I am running another stream, a horizontal stream on the secondary channel, which is essentially just a thumbnail, and it's directing people back here and telling people, hey, come over here. In case you do see this, come back over this way. And you can check us out on that side if you want to see the video, if you want to see the guests, if you want to see the Quran says bring them in changes until they submit. Yeah, and that's actually great because people actually came into this one. This one actually got 30 views, which I didn't even think it was going to. But thank you guys, man. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I'm very tired, and we'll see you guys around, man. Be safe, guys. Take care of yourselves. God bless.